welcome to Back Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
This has been one hell of a year, and I thought to cap it off, we'd talk about Doomsday Clock.
2 years in the making or something? More?
It started in November of 2017, and
Oh,
it
God.
concluded in December of 2019.
Okay, so 2 years.
So 2 years and 1 month.
Yeah.
Right.
It took for a 12-issue miniseries
Hey.
that was also the driving force behind the publishing line.
That's one every 2 months on average.
Yeah.
That's not the worst track record for books.
It is not. Yeah.
It's probably about twice as long as it's supposed to take,
Yeah,
though, I would guess.
literally that. Doomsday Clock is written by Jeff Johns with art by Gary Frank. It is the culmination of everything that Johns set up, all the way starting with things like Flashpoint. Of course, Flashpoint was written by Jeff Johns, and it started the New 52.
Yeah.
That was originally Jeff Johns' baby, where he's like,
And that was originally supposed to
oh,
end
no.
with this.
No. No, it was more like, well, Johns wrote stories for the Legion of Superheroes and the JSA. So clearly he has an affinity for these like characters who are relics.
Yeah.
And they represent like just a black and white idealized version of superheroes. The good guys are good, the bad guys are bad. Let's have hope in our hearts, that kind of thing.
It's simple.
So then he wrote Flashpoint, which is this misery fest about how, like, what if this lunatic killed this dude's mom, then the dude went back, saved his mom, and it caused a war that people seem to prefer to the current DC universe? It's supposed to be, and I think Johns meant for it to be,
All I did was save my mom.
yeah, what the hell? Why is it all like that? And it's like, yeah.
Apparently my mom is Hitler.
You change one thing and your favorite heroes, everything goes to shit.
That's right. Don't mess with time, Barry, even though your mom shouldn't have died in the first place. It's never been expressly stated that the New 52 was like an afterthought, and that somebody went like, oh my god, we're right in the middle of a time thing. Let's reboot the entire line because I'm sick of having to answer questions at cons. But I'm certain that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And so New 52 came out, and the problem with New 52, of course, was that it was so successful. It was very popular, it made a lot of money, and it had absolutely no rudder and no direction.
Yep.
And Johns, I think, was like, my god, what have I done? Also, of course, DC Universe Rebirth teased and set up Doomsday Clock. That was already in motion.
Right.
And it was going to be the template for the future of DC. This is where we're going.
Yeah,
It's like an unspoken crisis.
As I recall, the implication was that we got what was happening in Rebirth because of Dr. Manhattan.
Yes. Oh, we got all of this because of Dr. Manhattan.
So it wasn't Flashpoint directly that caused it, but it somehow...
Well, it was originally when
Yeah,
Johns
well, I
wrote
mean,
it because he
now,
set it up
in
like
the new
Pandora's
history.
involved, and then literally Dr. Manhattan in DC Universe was like boom and just blows up the reason why
Wow.
in continuity the New 52 happened. He's like, no, that was dumb. Who cares about
now
Grifter?
this. Yeah, well,
now,
who
of
does
course-
care about Grifter?
Ironically, everyone at DC now. Doomsday Clock is a sequel to Watchmen. I'm sorry,
Really?
it is.
I mean,
What?
you can't not have it be a sequel to Watchmen. It has the Watchmen
Well,
characters
yeah,
in it.
but
Right.
I don't know. I just assumed it was really just going to be Dr. Manhattan.
Right, and
messing with stuff.
that's what he was. You know, remember the button?
Yeah. The
comedian's button?
I remember the button, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have anything to do with this.
What?
But that was...
It was a stopgap because Doomsday Clock was taking too long.
Oh.
Okay.
People will argue in the comments that I'm wrong, but like I have it on good authority, I'm right. So the opening of Doomsday Clock is it's 1992 in the Watchmen universe.
Okay.
So it's a
We're just
sequ-
going right there.
Yes,
We're just-
we're opening page is it's Watchmen.
What? Okay.
Adrian Veidt's
Damn it.
plan,
Yeah.
it's out. Cat's out of the bag. Somebody read Rorschach's journal
Okay.
and they published it.
Okay. Like right then or just
No,
now?
just now.
Oh.
Like,
so
it
for
took-
years.
It took like a few years, from 86 to 92, for the journal to
8 years,
disseminate,
okay.
for people to unravel the mystery. And they did. Like, they found out about like the missing scientists, artists, and creators that like helped to craft the space alien.
Okay.
Right.
So they figured it all out.
It's all on the table, and the New York Times broke the story, and it ruined everything.
Right.
The piece, Robert Redford, current president of the United States, it's all falling apart. Mass hysteria, riots in the streets, government's falling apart. the Russians are blaming the Americans. They're saying that like the Americans did it in conjunction with Ozymandias. So nuclear war's back on the table.
Right.
Looks like nukes are back on our menu, boys. So people
Is there a clock? Is it saying like, oh, it's less than 2 minutes to midnight now?
the Doomsday Clock comes up, but not in the Watchmen universe.
Oh, that's weird.
That is weird.
All right.
That's where it should be most prevalent.
You'd think that, but it's not really a Watchmen story.
You said it was a sequel to Watchmen.
Well, we're seeing the sequelization of Watchmen. He sequelizes only the things he needs to sequelize in order to get us to where we need to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's not important if it's in the Watchmen universe. If it doesn't affect the Justice
Batman, it
League
doesn't matter.
in our universe, or
Yeah,
their universe.
who gives
I
a
should say.
shit?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, people who
That's
like Watchmen
fair.
care, yeah.
Yeah, but the people who like Watchmen don't want a sequel to
Right,
Watchmen.
they're not going to read this anyway. I mean, they are because, like, we know you're reading it. But, like, they're not going to like it. And they're never going to like it, whether it's, excellent or derivative. I mean, look at before Watchmen. They go into Veight's office. We're seeing, the news is punctuating how everything's falling apart. And, like, listen, if you want to read Doomsday Clock, I highly recommend you do. I'm going to put it in the description below this video. You can get the trade paperback. It's a little cheaper. And one must pore over this. It is, in essence, a sequel to Watchmen. It is also attempting to be the marching orders for the DC Universe. It's trying to fix things, set things up, and tell a story at the same time. There's a lot of stuff happening. It's very dense. And so people are going to be mad that I didn't talk about this very specific news anchor who says a very specific thing, or the
Right.
appendices, or the additional articles in the back, because there's extra shit in here.
Oh,
Like there
boy.
was in Watchmen.
Yeah, but where's the story of the Red Raider or whatever the fuck that boat was?
Oh, the Black
the
Freighter.
Black-
That's it.
There-
You rhymed with the thing that it was.
Let me tell you
I
something.
knew there was a color.
There is a Black Freighter element in this story.
Oh, thank God.
But in the DC universe, and it's very different. It's just, it uses that as it doesn't use Black Freighter, but it uses the concept of, let me tell a story within a story that parallels and punctuates the basic themes I'm trying to get at in this main thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. U.S. forces storm Veight's stronghold in the Arctic.
Okay.
And when they get there, they find like a medical chamber and a CAT scan that shows that, what?
It's CAT scan.
Because Boobass is a cat. They find a CAT scan of Ozymandias, presumably Ozymandias' skull, and the implication that he has a mass.
Oh. But Veight's not there.
He's not there. He's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he bailed.
He blew ass and then he left.
Yeah. We see a prison starting to erupt in violence because, like, they're in the blast zone of what's coming.
Oh.
And...
What?
Well, because...
Wouldn't everybody be?
Well, yeah.
If you're talking about nuclear
yeah,
war.
but we're specifically in a prison to showcase that Rorschach has returned.
Okay.
One of the prisoners, like, grabs a guard. And he's like, give me the keys. And then Rorschach shows up, grabs the keys, and he's like, you still want out?
is it really Rorschach?
So this is a crazy thing
Yeah,
because
it's a
he was
sequel.
fucking exploding.
Yeah, he was.
Walter Kovacs blew up.
Yes, this is
But is
just
he
a guy
back?
in a mask.
It's presumably, you would assume it's just some dude in a mask. That it's
Yeah.
not Walter Kovacs back to life.
Right.
But we treat him like the Rorschach
Right, he
you
acts
know.
just like Rorschach.
He acts just like Rorschach.
Okay.
Or at least he starts to act just like Rorschach. You start to see the veneer start to fall apart, and as you get to know the man behind the mask, you learn more about who it is. But the reason why Rorschach is in this prison is because he is racing against the clock. He is an agent of someone else. He's trying to procure someone at this prison. When he opens the door, he reveals Erica Manson, aka the Marionette. The Marionette is a new character created in the Watchmen universe. Again, that's why it's a sequel.
Right.
We get new characters. She is part of the new duo, Marionette and Mime. Marionette and Mime are two characters who presumably existed in the Watchmen universe who were antagonists for whatever heroes came across them, but the only example we see is when they come across Dr. Manhattan.
Is that them?
That is
on
them.
the cover?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Marionette and Mime are also analogs for characters from a previous company, the Charlton Company.
Ah, yes, of course.
Just as Blue Beetle and The Question and Captain Atom were themselves the basis for Dr. Manhattan and so forth, we got two other Charlton characters who, of course, were acquired by DC and folded in just as the other ones were.
Right. And what were the characters they were based on?
Those characters were Punch and Julie.
I was gonna say,
Punch
I
and
remember
Julie.
those from a freaking book that
Yeah,
we did.
Tom King used them in I Am Suicide during his Batman run. But Punch and Julie occasionally will pop up, and no one gave a shit.
Right.
And I want to tell you something. When Marionette and Mime are introduced in this book, they are the breakout new characters of this series. People really responded to Marionette and Mime. No one used them since this,
Right.
but they are fun characters, deeper and more interesting than Punch and Julie, and, you know,
Gotta love that clown circus.
who doesn't love the
theme.
clown thing?
Everyone likes the clowns.
Especially in the DC universe. So
It's all about them.
Send them
Rorschach
in.
is like, you gotta come with me, and she's like, no way. But you can't be Rorschach because it's been 8 years, I've heard you're dead.
Right.
And he's like, I am Rorschach, but I'm different. I'm not going to do the Rorschach voice. He speaks in broken sentences.
Yeah. You're
Thank
just
you.
going to say the essence of what he was
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't need to try and break down
Not going to do that.
speech.
But Rorschach's like, how can I convince you? I don't have any time. Takes off his glove and reveals he's black.
Ah, so it's not Rorschach.
Boom. Not Rorschach, not Walter Kovacs.
Well, not
Still
Walter
dead.
Kovacs doesn't mean he's not Rorschach.
Well, he is Rorschach for all intents and purposes.
Whatever.
So
He's taken up the mantle of Rorschach.
he baits her by being like, you had a son. I know the guy who knows where he is, and we'll give him to you if you do this job for us.
Us?
Yeah. Well, Rorschach and his employer
yeah, the people who are hired him.
brought him out.
Right.
So she's like, well, I'm not going anywhere until my husband comes with us.
Right.
That's Mime.
Mime. Yeah.
Mime, of course, had already been freed, and we see his, like, there's a prison riot, people free Mime. Mime doesn't talk, he's a mute. And
Which is fitting for the character.
exactly.
Good.
His whole shtick is he has, like, invisible weapons that he uses, but I don't believe that in the Watchmen universe they actually become weapons.
Right.
I think it's more like he mimes them and then affects their outcome through other means, but he's incredibly graceful and strong and talented. So, you know, it's like he makes it look like he stabbed you by miming a knife, but he'll find another way to stab you and make it look like you've been stabbed.
Right.
Oh, I was hoping it was all psychosomatic, like
Right,
he
he-
makes you believe that you have been
so
stabbed.
Good
He's
at
just
being
so
a
good at it. The
Your
French
brain
love
makes
him.
it real.
Yeah, no. I
It's
don't
like you're
think
in the
that's
fucking Matrix when you're fighting him.
I don't think that's the case, but the big surprise and twist that I'll reveal here, because you're not watching the show to find out what happened in Doomsday Clock, is that when they come to the DC universe,
His powers become real. Yeah. Okay.
Does he speak and be like, holy shit? Oh,
no, Mime is very committed, and in fact, Marionette and Mime are committed to each other. They are grotesque in their execution of their crimes, but their love is so pure and beautiful that it makes it kind of like frustrating
like
to
you,
read.
you kind of forgive it.
You don't if you're not a sociopath.
Okay.
But like you forget sometimes as you're reading, and you're like, look at them go. Like
Yeah.
you want them almost to
You're
get
rooting
away
for them a little bit.
until you see them do more things, and they are so unapologetic in their execution that you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the case with Watchmen characters. So like,
Yeah.
okay, you've done it. Rorschach leads Marionette and Mime through the sewers of the city, and they end up in a secret lair, which of course is Night Owl's lair from Watchmen.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Marionette and Mime are like, oh my god, we're in the owl lair. Like, so you hooked up with Night Owl? And he's like, no. And then Ozymandias arrives. Ozymandias escaped custody and punishment for his crimes, and then coerced this Rorschach into freeing Marionette and Mime. Well, Marionette.
Right.
And to help aid in his new
Scheme.
ridiculously circuitous scheme,
Right.
which will save the world.
He's got a little baby Bubastis.
He's got a little baby Bubastis, yeah.
Yay.
Baby
it's red.
Baby Bubastis is the result of cloning technology and experimentation that Ozymandias fully funded through shell corporations under the guise of trying to protect like basically every species on the planet.
He got the DNA of every species, and then he's like, I'm going to use this to make a pet.
He took the ashes of Bubastis and then tried to mix them with any animal that would allow for Bubastis to return. So
Bubastis was already like a genetic experiment.
yeah. So
why couldn't he just redo that experiment?
he wants Bubastis back.
No.
He is
But
so
they're
heartbroken.
ashes.
Yeah.
But
there
those
is
ashes have DNA.
Yeah. He wants Bubastis back. There's
Okay.
an appendice thing in here where he is so distraught and heartbroken at the end of the first Watchmen story that he spends trillions of dollars to get Bubastis back.
Well, to be fair, he's the one that threw the handle,
Yeah,
so
he-
he should feel
that's
guilty.
the
Yeah,
thing is
but
he feels
why?
bad.
If he was going to feel that bad about it, why would he have done it in the first place?
He needed to do, as you recall,
There's
in
no
Watchmen,
other way.
There was no other way. He had to flip the switch then.
I also assume that he thought he might die.
Yeah, I think he expected to die.
Yeah.
So, Bubastis is back. The appendices explain, and I think Ozymandias explains through like one or two panels, that ultimately no animal species would work. So he went back to the drawing board and realized that the ashes didn't just come from Bubastis, they also came from John's body. And so he used John's DNA and merged it with the Bubastis DNA and whatever else would work to create this new Bubastis, whom he calls Bubastis 2.
No, if you're gonna just if you're
calls
gonna
it
try and
Bubastis.
resurrect your pet, you just call it Bubastis.
He just calls it Bubastis, but its designation is Bubastis 2.
Right.
It would be two best.
He's gotta-
or the second. Like
Yeah,
Ramses
the second. Like Ramses the second.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You see, that makes sense.
That's what I was
and
thinking.
that's what he
An
does.
asshole.
Yeah.
And as a result, Ozymandias has his best friend back, but also the linchpin to his scheme to save the world again. His scheme is, I'm going to ask Dr. Manhattan to come back and save the world. That's his whole plan.
That's not much of a plan.
No, it's not.
That's-
But don't worry, he
That's
concocts one hell of a plan when he goes to another reality.
Oh,
Guess which
boy.
one? Essentially, Ozymandias reasons that Dr. Manhattan left, and, because at the end of Watchmen, he says, I'm leaving this universe for one less complicated or whatever. That universe, of course, would end up being the DC universe.
And it's not less
It
complicated.
is a lot more complicated.
You got here, it's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
He's become the Watcher. We're just like, I can't get involved, but this is fascinating.
yeah, I'll just watch and talk to the audience. Ozymandias' plan is he outfitted Archie
Yeah.
to break through the barrier and end up in the universe following Dr. Manhattan's tachyons, which he leaves behind wherever he goes. He uses Bubastis 2 to basically act as like an interdimensional tether or magnet that brings him through, because not only does Bubastis II have like some little bit of Dr. Manhattan imprinted onto him, but also it can use Dr. Manhattan's powers a little bit.
Oh.
When it activates, it basically calls to Dr. Manhattan and acts like a magnet, so it compels Manhattan to come whether he wants to or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So Ozymandias explains that his original plan was he was going to ask Laurie to come,
Oh.
but he was like, if he sees Laurie and Dan, he might freak out and not come with me. So I'll bring someone whom he spared in his past that will remind him of his heroism. Because the idea here is that when Dr. Manhattan crossed paths with Marionette and Mime, there's an awesome sequence that showcases that. Marionette and Mime were robbing a bank, and we see the whole sequence where they rob the bank, and then Dr. Manhattan shows up. And it takes place during Watchmen.
Okay.
During
the story of Watchmen?
more or less, or during the timeline, because
Right.
Manhattan is with Laurie and they're on the compound and they're down the road from this bank.
Yeah, so it's like maybe shortly before
Yes.
or something. Yeah.
So John shows up to fight Marionette and Mime, and by fight I mean explode.
Right.
And when he goes to explode Mime, Marionette says, "No, don't. If you're gonna kill him, you have to kill me too." And he stops for a minute, and we see the sequence where we have ba-bum. It's the sound of a heartbeat.
Yeah, I thought it was babum. I'm like, he doesn't know how to say baby? That is a babum.
And instead they're arrested, and that's when they end up at the prison that they are in until Rorschach springs them.
Right.
people presume that the reason why he didn't kill her was because she was pregnant. But of course, we all know that in Watchmen, during the Vietnam War, he didn't save a pregnant woman from being killed by the comedian.
Right.
So clearly, pregnant women are not his Achilles heel.
Right.
He spared her for some other reason, and that reason is why Ozymandias wanted Marionette to come with them. To remind John about why he spared her in the first place, and maybe, presumably, that might have something to do with saving humanity as well.
Okay.
That's an interesting concept, and it's a cool take on it. I would hope that maybe the idea is that maybe he learned from Vietnam.
Right.
You're like, oh, life
I'm an
has
asshole.
meaning.
Yeah.
I should have spared her. Ba-bum. All right, I'm gonna learn from this. You're not gonna die.
Right. Nope.
Yeah, no.
God damn it.
That wouldn't make any sense because he was getting like further removed
Yes,
from his
exactly.
humanity as time went by, so that wouldn't like jive with like his arc.
No.
in
You
the
say
prior
that, but
book.
at the same time, at the end of the
Well, at
book,
the end, he learns.
Yes, but
that's
that was
of
because
Adrian's
Lori
plan.
intervened and
Right.
got him to come back.
Yeah, the lesson he learns on Mars is
Yeah,
what brings him
like
back.
until
Nothing-
that moment, he hadn't learned anything and was getting worse. And
Yes.
then, yeah.
Yeah. So Ozymandias is like, all right, so everyone get in the ship. We're gonna go to the DC universe. Meanwhile, in
What? That's his plan?
yeah,
What?
We're gonna go follow John, get him, bring him back, and unmake this bullshit.
So he knows that John went to the DC universe?
he doesn't went to another universe.
Oh.
He doesn't call it the DC universe.
I see. He's like,
He
well,
doesn't even
wherever he
know
went, we're
who's over
going.
there. That's right. And we're gonna use Bubastis
Yeah.
a second to get us there.
Okay.
yeah, we're gonna
And-
follow the Tachyons.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, meanwhile, in the DC universe, Clark is asleep at home with Lois, and he has a dream that is a literal recreation of that time his parents died in the New 52 origin. So Clark Kent, in the New 52 origin, didn't have parents in his adolescence. His parents are not alive when he's Superman.
Okay.
And in fact, in the New 52, the JSA was never formed, and as a result, Superman was never Superboy, and as a result, Superboy never inspires the Legion of Superheroes in the 31st century, so there's no Legion of Superheroes either. So in the New 52, it's a little more hopeless, and Johns posits that it's because there was no old fogey team, and there was no young fogey team. So Clark is going to the prom, and basically he is talking about how his powers have manifested, and he's like asking for advice, and Pa's like, one day you'll let the world in on your secret, but like, no one's ever seen anything like you before, and they may be afraid of you. And that lesson that John imparts Clark inspires the New 52 version of Superman.
Oh, like, don't save me
Don't
and
save me.
expose yourself.
Tornado!
Let me go into a tornado.
No, but John never jumps into a tornado. Instead, Clark goes to the prom. And on the way home, John and Martha are T-boned by a truck, and they smash into a tree and they die.
Oh.
Which is actually what happens in the New 52.
Oh.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
Clark's last lesson from his father is, they will fear you. Superman still becomes Superman, and we still get Tomasi Superman, and we still get post-Crisis Superman who went back in time and then ends up getting merged with New 52 Superman. Forget all that.
It's like the lesson didn't stick.
Just forget it.
Okay.
Okay. Forgetting. Done.
Superman gets married and has a kid, and it doesn't matter. And,
Yeah.
he resembles the Superman that we liked and remembered, but he isn't technically the Superman we liked and remembered yet, because John hasn't fixed it yet. And that's what all that Rebirth and Doomsday Clock is John fixing DC for himself.
Just Superman? Or primarily Superman?
Well, Superman's the linchpin for everything.
He's the key to all of this.
That's right.
I thought that was Flash. Or Green Lantern at some point.
Fuck him. No.
Sometimes it's Aquaman.
They talk about, he wrote all of those characters. Johns suggests that, well, we'll get there.
Yeah,
But the Green Lanterns don't really factor in.
Okay.
But Flash does. Superman basically has this nightmare that is literally what happened to his parents. And Lois is like,
You broke the bed again.
well, no, he flies up. Like, there's this beautiful sequence where when he wakes up, he is like 4 feet above the covers.
4 feet above the covers.
That's right, Venkman. But she says, come down. And then he floats down, and she's like, I don't think I've ever remembered you having a nightmare. And he's like, I don't think I've ever had one before.
Is that what this is? You have these regularly? Oh god, this is terrifying.
Never had a nightmare before.
Yeah. Which
Because
is,
he's Superman.
Well, he's so full of hope.
Nightmares are like a weakness.
Yeah.
He doesn't have...
well, he doesn't need to sleep. But
Doesn't he just sleep?
It depends. Johns worked for Richard Donner when he made the Superman movie.
Okay.
And in the Superman movie, he doesn't need to sleep or eat,
Yeah.
but he likes to.
Right.
So while in the comics, Superman is a flesh and blood creature that needs sleep and food, when he lands here and gets the yellow sun of the Earth, presumably he doesn't need to sleep or eat as much as he would were he under the red sun, Ral
Sure.
of Krypton.
Right. He gets nourishment in other ways.
Right. He's a flower. He gets nourishment from the sun. Ozymandias gives Marionette and Mime their costumes. We get the flashback to the origins of why Marionette and Mime aren't dead because they met Dr. Manhattan.
Right.
Ozymandias leaves the Watchmen universe for the DC universe as the nukes are dropping.
Oh, wow.
So the
They got
world's
out
over.
just in time, yeah.
What's he gonna try and do and come back for?
Well, I guess he could bring John back into the past of that universe.
Right.
Maybe.
Whatever. Let's not try to guess what Ozymandias' plan was.
Do we rely on a Flash to travel through? Okay, good.
There is no Flash, Speed Force, time travel in this story.
All right.
Wow.
That good.
There's only Dr. Manhattan time travel.
Right.
Where I am in every timeline.
Right.
Like it's now, it's then, it's
Sure.
it's where it's going to be.
Yeah, he perceives time that way. That doesn't mean that he's everywhere.
Well,
But that's how he perceives it. That's the
everywhere
only kind
he's
of-
been is
where he is.
He is where he is now, yeah.
So
Been or will be.
exactly. So in the DC universe, there is no setup for this, which is also frustrating because it's a big setup, and it would have been really cool if like all of the writers and DC editorial were on board when they set this up.
Right.
But the idea here is that there is this popular theory that is permeating the DC landscape, which is the Superman theory. The concept of which is, we all know Superman came from another planet, and he landed on Earth, and he landed in America, and he dresses like the American flag, but we can all trust him to do the right thing, regardless of nations and borders, right?
Okay.
Superman is not American by birth.
He's an
But,
immigrant.
yeah, he's an immigrant.
Yeah.
But why are there so many American superheroes? I suggest it's because the American government engineered them as a, like, nuclear deterrent against foreign nations.
This is a theory that people are
That's
talking about
the
in the
current-
DC universe?
In this book only.
In this book, right.
Yes.
Some people are talking about that.
Yes, and while Superman is not implicit in the theory, they call it the Supermen theory.
Okay.
Some characters have admitted to being part of it.
What?
Oh.
Who?
Characters we know, or...
Characters that you don't know.
Oh, I see.
But they exist, by gum.
Right.
Let me tell you
so
that.
not too many people would be upset by a retcon where they are like in cahoots with the government
Right.
to deter Russian aggression.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? That happens in like almost every comic book universe at some point. The government's just like, oh, we're going to experiment on people, or we're just going to train
Yes,
people.
that is
and
a
they're going to become
component.
superheroes.
But now it is explicitly part of characters' backstories that it was not part of their backstories before.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
The idea here is the Superman theory is really frustrating people. It's riling everybody up. It's getting governments upset.
Where is it coming from? Like, why now?
Right. Why now?
so
well,
that Watchmen and DC can have some kind of parallel.
yes. That's why.
Yes,
That's exactly why.
obviously, yeah. I mean, in the universe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no. It's,
Why do they think it's happening now? Like,
Oh.
presumably since like what, like the 1960s, the government's been doing this.
Well,
why now in 20? Well, I guess we
No,
don't know.
because
what
Superman
fucking
landed
year it is.
25 years ago.
Oh, right. Okay.
So the 80s.
Yeah.
So Batman's sentiment is at an all-time low. People are
Oh,
protesting
they think
Batman.
Batman's part of it.
They just don't like him.
Oh.
I mean, like, he is the anti-Batman mentality that's tearing Gotham apart right now in this story and in no other story
Yeah.
anywhere ever again is connected to the Superman theory, but Batman is like the only one that's not a goddamn superhero, so like what the hell? Anyway,
Not only that, but Gotham is the worst place.
yes.
Well,
You'd
maybe that's
think
why
they'd
they're
be happy
maybe
about
that's why
him
they're
being there.
protesting. It's like he's here, but maybe he's the cause of it.
Yeah, there's
You know?
there's a great commentary where Perry White is telling his reporters to stay indoors because like the riots and the super or metahuman sentiment is getting worse.
Right.
And he's like, it looks like Gotham out there.
Ouch, Perry.
Yeah,
Ouch.
damn. I mean, like, you know.
Oh yeah, we get one of these newspaper
Articles.
clippings in the back. New theory on concentration of metahumans in the United States raises questions about secret origins.
Oh, that was a DC comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they show a map showing like all the heroes, and the U.S. is just like covered in
Yep,
little
and it's like,
dots, and then the
bink,
other
bink, over
countries
there, like,
have like a handful. Yeah.
Yep, couple. So in the metatext, LexCorp and Wayne Tech have been buying up any companies that are doing any research into the metagene and metahumans, and have been for a long time.
Interesting.
And Lex Luthor is winning because Lex is doing it corruptly, and Batman's
the
doing
book.
it because he works with these people. Johns is capitalizing on a couple of things that were set up in the New 52, like LexCorp's acquisition of Cord Industries, so like Blue Beetle's company.
Yeah.
So Lex is getting more and more power, and he's getting all these scientists, he's getting all this data on whether the Superman theory is correct.
Right.
And that perhaps maybe some of this sentiment has been popularized through Lex Luthor.
Ah, okay.
The Watchmen land, your favorite super team.
So they
Yeah.
just got here?
Oh yeah,
They pressed the button to activate the Bubastes gene. or
literally, they handcuff Marionette and Mime to the ship, and Rorschach and Ozymandias leave to go seek out the world's smartest men. That's
What?
Ozymandias is like, I need help here and to get my bearings, so I'm going to seek out the smartest man.
in this
In
new
this
world that
world.
I've never been to.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Pardon me, boy! Where's your smartest man?
Smartest man? You mean Batman?
I'll give you half a crown if you bring him back in an hour.
Where's the me of this world? I want to talk to him.
That's exactly it. I mean, because that's what you're asking for. Like, yeah, Jeff Johns is literally using narrative to try and make editorial policy, but also, you want to see Rorschach and Batman fight, though, don't you? I mean, if we're gonna piss
God
on
damn
Alan
it.
Moore's face, we might as well do it like full stream. I mean,
Yeah, let's just handcuff the whole reason I brought her here.
we're gonna find Dr. Manhattan, bring him to them. These two are lunatics. I'm not gonna let them just run around in the
Right.
DC universe. I don't even know what the DC universe is. And Ozymandias is like, okay, I've just got to figure out what my bearings are. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to the library and I'm gonna look up these like 4 real people and see if they exist in this universe and what role they played in this universe.
Okay.
Like Hemingway and so forth.
Right.
Did they exist?
Just so if let's presume that our history was the same up until a certain point,
Yes.
and then it diverged. And I just want to figure out where that is.
Which they bring up because, of course, Marionette and Mime will escape and they will run into villains. And when the villains offer to pay them off, they're like, your dollars don't even have Nixon on them. I don't want your funny money.
Right.
So Ozymandias says he's going to go after the smartest man.
Yeah.
And Rorschach can go after the second smartest man. Meanwhile, throughout the story, Ozymandias keeps having like crippling headaches.
Yeah.
And Rorschach is like, oh, it's getting worse. He's like, yeah, we're racing against the clock. That's
Right.
my doomsday clock. Right. And I've got a tumor that's going to kill me, and I got to hurry up and save the world and, not let my legacy be tarnished by the horse shit I made.
The amazing
Right.
thing is I'm a super genius and I can't fix cancer.
Yeah.
No one can fix cancer.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Ozymandias figures it all out. Like, he finds out Bruce Wayne's Batman immediately.
Did he come here for the Lazarus pit?
No.
Damn it!
Nope. He doesn't know about the Lazarus pit.
Yeah.
And I guess when he finds out about it, he doesn't give a shit. There's a reason why he doesn't use the Lazarus pit. We'll get into that in a minute. Ozymandias and Lex, because that's his counterpart.
Yeah.
And Rorschach,
Rorschach
and
and
Batman.
Bruce.
So
Got it.
Rorschach breaks into Wayne Manor. Alfred made Batman pancakes for later. Rorschach eats them because early in the story, Rorschach wanted the pancakes from his diner, and it's a long story. The point is, he wanted the pancakes.
The pancakes are a thing.
Yep, and now he has them, and
And
he
now
ate them.
Alfred is happy because Master Wayne finally ate a meal.
Yeah. No, he finds out that Rorschach ate them, and because Rorschach and Batman will meet, and the first thing Batman says to him is, "You ate my breakfast." So Rorschach finds out about the Batcave. He feels a draft. He holds a match up to the clock, uses the clock, gets into the Batcave. He triggers the defenses. Batman immediately goes home. So Luthor bumps into Ozymandias in his office, and I love watching the two of them talk because it's just great.
Because they're just talking down at each other.
Yes.
You may be the smartest man here, but I'm still the smartest man. Well, you may think you're the smartest man, but I'm the smartest man.
Yes.
Right.
I'm amazed that within 3 minutes they don't kill each other.
Oh, it's great. Ozymandias, in between the panels, explains to Luthor what he did on his Earth and why he's here now.
Right.
And Lex Luthor goes, let me get this straight. And he breaks down what Ozymandias' plan was to unite the world.
Right.
And he's like, if you're the world's smartest man, I'd hate to meet the dumbest. That's the worst plan I've ever heard. Do you really expect every nation on Earth to unite under one common foe? That is so stupid.
Well, they did.
But it's
until
not
the
gonna
lie was
work.
revealed.
Yeah. So...
And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for that damned Rorschach.
Yeah.
Journal.
Ozymandias and Luthor are attacked. Ozymandias dodges a bullet because he can. Luthor doesn't.
What are you talking about? He doesn't catch it in his hand?
No, he just gets out of the way. Luthor gets one in the chest, and
Ooh.
it is revealed that the comedian has returned.
What? Why?
This makes no sense.
So comedian's here, and he is here to kill.
The comedian's fucking dead, my friend.
And the comedian's not in this universe.
Nope, he's not. So I'm going to cut to how comedian's here. John brings the comedian here to kill Bubastis II because he doesn't want to be found.
So he knew about the time travel, so John just goes, comedian.
Yeah. He knew about the interdimensional
Or the
travel.
interdimensional travel, yeah.
Yeah. We see the sequence where the comedian is killed.
Yeah.
Where Ozymandias beats him and throws him out the window.
Yeah.
And as he's falling, he Venetian blinds out and lands in the harbor at in Metropolis.
No, like his body hit the pavement though. Like we saw it.
Yeah,
so
no.
is John changing what happened?
John is borrowing the comedian.
Oh,
I remember people were so pissed.
Oh, he's gonna put him right back.
Someone's
oh
gonna
my
put him right
god. Okay. All
So
right.
comedian is like he's literally a foot or two away from street pizza and then lands in the ocean.
He's also severely beaten.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he can get better though.
he does.
Yeah,
Well-
just needs a day or two.
Well, Blake wakes up in the harbor and he swims back to shore, and when he gets there, John's waiting for him and he goes, "Hey, Blake." And he's like, "Doc, what are you doing here, man?" So now the comedian is like an agent of Dr. Manhattan,
That's funny. Okay.
more or less.
Ozymandias looks at him. Didn't I kill you already?
Yeah. Ozymandias immediately knows that it's John's work. You know,
Right.
They have a big
Right.
fight.
How could you be here? Oh, John exists.
John exists, that's
so
why.
I guess.
Yeah. Comedian tries to knock Ozymandias out the window, but Luthor's glass is too strong. He's like, "Damn. Really wanted to knock you out the window." So Ozymandias basically dodges bullets from the comedian until the window is soft enough to break through, and he escapes.
He intentionally jumps out the window.
That's right.
And Bubastis 2 goes, "Rear."
You'll see every other panel for Bubastis is him saying "Meow," because he's like a little cat.
Meow.
Out of all of the exploitation of this, the fact that there aren't Bubastis II dolls is a crime.
Yeah, he's
He's
adorable.
so cute.
Yeah.
Maybe the color changes too. He's red when he's like young.
When he activates his Dr. Manhattan powers, his energy's blue.
Of course. All right.
So Batman and Rorschach face off, but it's not Rorschach. It's this
Right,
other guy.
it's this fucking guy.
It's Reggie.
Who's that?
Reggie is a new character that is established and retconned as an old character. We'll get into Reggie.
okay.
But
I used
basically-
to be a superhero until I stopped
Nope.
being. And
Nope.
No?
No.
He's something else.
Nope. He's something else. So Rorschach says to Batman, "I'm trying to save the world. I'm trying to blah blah blah. It doesn't matter."
please tell me it's not the freaking psychologist.
No, it's not the psychiatrist. He was like
No, he
fucking
said it's
50
a
years
new
old and fat.
character.
It's a new
It's a
character.
new
Just want to make sure. Well, he had a deep connection with Rorschach too. Maybe
did.
just lost some weight.
Right? Yeah, he got fit.
We haven't seen his face. He could be old.
Yeah.
Getting strong. So Rorschach basically gives Batman Rorschach's journal. He's like, "Read this. It'll be faster than me trying to explain it in my horrible broken English."
Okay.
By the way, little eagle-eyed fan note: Archie lands in the DC universe. They land in the carnival in the Killing Joke.
Oh, great. Gotta tie that in too.
Gotta tie that in too.
Yeah.
Well, Three Jokers hasn't come yet.
Ah, yes.
He did set it up though, but
Yeah.
one thing at a time.
Yeah, then we're gonna get the friggin' plant from Superman when
Oh,
Superman
yes!
gets attacked
The
by
Black
plant.
Mercy.
The Black Mercy will show up at some point.
I'm
This-
shocked
Alan
it's not-
Moore's greatest hits, all covered in this book.
You just described Jeff Johns' career.
I understand that he wanted to do some great stuff, but I can write it better.
Well, I could expound on that.
I could exploit it.
So Rorschach gives Batman his journal. Batman reads it.
Yep.
Marionette and Mime escape. I love it because Marionette's like, did you remember to bring your lockpicks? You know, his fake invisible lockpicks.
Yeah.
But they work.
But they work this time.
So they
Why would
leave.
she suggest that, knowing that they're not real?
Because maybe it does work. I don't know.
But that's the thing. In their universe, apparently it works anyway.
Right.
Well, no, he does it, but like,
circumstances, but like he breaks the lock or something. However it works in the universe in Watchmen doesn't matter anymore. So we get a whole 9-panel grid page. They're all basically 9 panels. Where Batman is reading the journal and Rorschach is impatiently waiting, and he says, "What page are you on?" And Batman says, 4. And he's like, "Jesus." And Batman's like, "Why don't you go upstairs and take a shower?"
you have a way with people.
Alfred's up there. I'm sure he'd love your little project for Alfred. So, meanwhile, there is an old man. No, I'm not gonna even bother. Johnny Thunder of the JSA exists in the DC universe in the New 52 post-Rebirth continuity.
Yeah.
But he never became Johnny Thunder. So now he's just a 104-year-old man in this sad nursing home.
Okay.
Johnny Thunder knows he's supposed to be Johnny Thunder, but he's trapped, having lived this mundane life.
Okay.
He's involved because he is a relic from the previous timeline.
Right.
And he desperately wants to be relevant and matter again.
So people can be aware that something's wrong.
Yeah.
With the world.
Yeah, and that happens because, of course, in DC Universe Rebirth, Wally came from the Speed Force, and he's like, things are changed.
Right.
Yeah, we lost 5 years or something.
And there's a
No,
Black
every-
Me in this universe
Right.
because they thought, oh, no one cares about Wally. We'll just update him and make him African American. And then
Right.
people were like, no.
No,
And
I
they're like,
want Wally.
oh, okay. Well, then we'll call the New 52 Wally Wallace, and we'll bring back Wally. So there's 2 Kid Flashes, and both of them are called Wally West, but one's black and one's white because it would be racist if we got rid of the other one. So let's just move on. You know how, in Kingdom Come, there is this character named Norman McRae, who is the Spectre's tether to humanity.
Yeah, the
he's
ride-along.
the narrative
Yeah,
through line for
yeah.
Kingdom Come. Because you can't just tell a story about Superman and fighting Shazam.
What does it matter if there's not some normal Joe?
Exactly. Carver Coleman is ipso facto the Norman McRae, more or less. Carver Coleman was this actor from the 40s. He played a actor who portrayed a character named Nathaniel Dusk. Nathaniel Dusk was a private eye in these
Gritty stories?
serial noirish detective movies.
Yeah.
And in DC continuity, he was a comic book character in a Nathaniel Dusk series from the 80s.
Okay.
But it's New 52. So instead of Nathaniel Dusk having been a detective comic book that you read about in DC, in Doomsday Clock / New 52,
It was a TV show.
it was a movie
Oh, a
serial
movie serial. Okay.
starring this guy, Carver Coleman, who came about in the 30s and 40s,
Okay.
and then got his big break in the 50s.
Okay.
Got it.
So we will be reminded of these, and we're going to be shown scenes from his last movie before he was
This is our Black Freighter.
our Black Freighter.
Okay.
The Adjournment is the last Nathaniel Dusk picture for Carver Coleman because Carver Coleman would be brutally murdered with an award that he won in his house.
Oh.
Okay.
He was being blackmailed for reasons that never come out in the press in this continuity.
Okay.
But the reality is he's gay
Ah.
in the 40s and 50s.
Right.
So that's that. And Carver Coleman, of course, his story is that he grew up on a farm, and his mom and his dad took him to this movie that really existed. And when he saw that, he grabbed a bag full of hopes and a pocket full of dreams, and he headed to Hollywood, and he hit the pavement, and he tried his best, and eventually got his big break in a Westerner, and then moved on. into the Nathaniel Dusk role.
Yeah, then became famous.
And then died. In reality, Carver Coleman grew up in Philly to a single mom who turned tricks down the street. He saw that movie that he loved by himself in the theater, and then he left. And then things happen that we'll get into later. But, that's Carver Coleman. Carver Coleman's he's an actor. He isn't a superhero. He doesn't do anything special. He just lives and dies. And he was in these random movies that are referenced to this story.
Right.
The story is also kind of parallel because, the adjournment was about these two people who were playing chess and then died. They were murdered, and then it turns out that they knew each other. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Johns, knock it off.
No, it's got to do. It's got to
what
have a
Watchmen
story
did. I
that's
have to do it.
paralleling what's going on.
That's right.
It's the sequel to Watchmen. It's got to have it.
It's got to have that. So Marionette Mime go to this comedy club, which is also unsavory, and it's filled with all these bad-looking dudes.
Yeah.
They all brandish their Joker tattoos.
Yeah.
Marionette Mime fuck up these guys right good. You can see these, the way in which it is portrayed that, Mime points his gun at the guy who's brandishing a knife at Marionette.
Yeah.
And then just pulls the trigger and blows his brains out. I love that sequence. The art is second to none. For all the praises I sang to Jason Fabok for Three Jokers, Gary Frank, this is a tour de force.
What is Marionette's ability here, where she can slice?
She has razor wire, a very thin razor wire that she uses, and she just cuts people to ribbons.
Yeah.
It is
People and things.
things. I was rereading this the other day, and just when she goes, "You got pretty eyes," and jumps at his face from his POV, I'm like, "Oh my God, no!"
Yeah. Yeesh. After she cut off his hand, she cuts off his hand, and he's grabbing the stump to stop the bleeding, and then she just lunges at him.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
So, Marionette and Mime are here because they're we were coerced by Ozymandias to come here to get John under the pretense that they knew where our son was, who was taken from me after I delivered him at the prison.
Right.
Marionette and Mime had a kid. He was born years ago in the Watchmen universe and then disappeared. And Ozymandias suggests that he might be in the DC universe. So it doesn't take a genius to think, oh my God, are you retconning that the Joker is Marionette and Mime's son?
Oh, no.
No.
Okay.
They land in the Killing Joke Carnival.
Yeah.
They go to the Joker's bar.
Yeah.
When
They're
they find
looking
out
for
about
their
the Joker,
son.
they're looking for their son. They find out about Joker. They're like, let's look for him. Let's see what the deal is with this Joker guy.
He sounds fun.
Yeah. Well, they're nuts, and
they're
Joker is
insane.
nuts too. So, okay, we find out more about Rorschach.
Okay.
You see, Rorschach's nightmares are he's driving towards the city,
Yep.
and then
he sees
the psychic monster.
Yeah.
He's there during the New York
Right.
apocalypse,
Okay.
or they call it the New York massacre. But he's affected by the psychic monster, but he wasn't killed by it.
Okay.
So he is messed up. He has constant problems mentally as a result of having been psychically attacked by the monster.
Right.
He also has a Bubastis mirror charm.
Yeah, well, Bubastis was an action figure in a toy line back then. So Batman wakes up Rorschach, and he's like, I've read your journal. Well, the previous Rorschach's journal.
Yeah.
Let's go. I know where Dr. Manhattan is.
What?
Yep, I figured it out from reading the journal.
Okay.
So Batman and Rorschach sneak in and break into Arkham. It's also a cute little sequence where Batman breaks out his grapple gun. Rorschach
Ooh.
pulls out his much bigger grapple gun. He's he has envy because Batman has a much more compartmentalized gun.
Yes. Smaller is better.
He asks Batman if he can borrow one. Batman's like, okay. Well, anyway, he's in here. So Batman leads Rorschach into the cell, and then he closes the door on him and he goes, "You belong in here," and then leaves.
Yes! Oh my God, that's awesome.
What a dick.
Cool.
It's a fun move for Batman.
I think that Batman's able to do that. The people who run Arkham are just
Well, Batman drops him off.
Yeah, he drops
You
people
ate
off
my
all the
pancakes.
time.
Well, yeah, don't never
need-
steal from Batman. Least of all his food.
We don't need a court decision
Look.
or anything or police. Just Batman can
Batman
show up
dropped
and
him
drop
off.
anybody off, and
He
we'll
locked
take
him in an empty cell.
Yep.
Alfred will make me dinner. He'll make me lunch. I'll let those go to waste, but I never
miss breakfast.
I never miss
It's
breakfast.
the most important meal of the day. Reggie is the psychiatrist from Watchmen's son.
Oh, you were close, Ben.
Yeah. Yes. He is the only black character in Watchmen.
Other than the kid who was reading the newspaper or the comics outside the
Which actually
newsstand.
would have been probably more poetic.
That would have been better.
But he was at the epicenter, and he clearly
Well, he died.
atomizes.
Yeah, he's gone.
So he's not usable. Unless Dr. Manhattan saved him for no good reason.
Yeah.
Like he does constantly throughout this book. But Reggie's... Okay, so the idea here is that...
He was deeply affected by Rorschach because of his dad.
Yes. Well, when Reggie finds out that his dad was assigned to the Walter Kovacs case on the news, he leaves school to go visit because his mom, when he calls up, sounds upset. So he's going to check on them. And when he goes to check on them, that's when he's hit by the bomb. The alien bomb, which messes him up.
Yep.
And so then he is put away, and he goes to an asylum.
Yeah.
In current continuity, like right now, a new psychiatrist goes to talk to Reggie Rorschach. We see that Reggie is in a constant state of like torture and chaos. Like he's talking to the psychiatrist 1 minute, the alien like eye opens up in the psychiatrist's face, and he finds himself back in the car after the blast. And he's already messed up.
Severe PTSD.
We see him go into the asylum and how he's like beaten and tortured and like, doped up by all his people.
Yeah.
Eventually he frees himself, this is in the past, from his straitjacket, makes his way out. When he gets to the roof, he bumps into this old man who is standing on the precipice, and he's like, hey. And Reggie goes, oh, you're going to jump too? Because he wants to kill himself. And the old man's like, no, I'm not going to jump. I can fly. They said I couldn't, but I worked on it for a couple of months, and I've got it all. I just got to visualize what I want to see. I see what I want to see. And so he opens up his wings, and you see that he is a like naked old man with a moth suit, and he floats away.
Yeah.
And this is
this
Mothman.
was that his name?
I was gonna be like, is there a-
I think it was Mothman.
From the Minutemen.
Right.
So
it's really him?
It's really him.
Okay.
And it's not a figment of his imagination.
Right. So Mothman escapes from an insane asylum.
Yes.
Oh, they found him?
So Mothman got arrested.
Oh.
He went to his favorite diner. He ordered eggs because he mentions to Reggie, like, the eggs here are so dry, they're terrible. So he escapes. He goes to a diner, naked as the day he was born, with his wings. He orders eggs and toast.
I have no money to pay for them.
No.
No.
And then he gets arrested and he gets brought back. And Reggie and Mothman become, like, friends.
Yeah.
And, basically, Reggie is, like, broken and sad, and Mothman, like, sees something in him, and so he, like, takes him under his wing, so to speak, and basically just tries to, like, make him feel okay. And Reggie has this, like, strong belief in his father, and how, like, he was told, like, his father was getting through to Rorschach, and that, like, Rorschach and his dad were becoming friends, and, like, their life was getting better.
Right.
So you could say that Reggie had a flame inside of him, and Mothman was attracted
Was
to
drawn
that.
to it, you might say, yeah.
Okay.
And so he escapes. He goes to, like, the epicenter where Reggie came from, in New York City.
Yeah.
And, like, goes into his apartment and, like, steals some things for him and, like, brings it back to him. He's like, hey, Merry Christmas. And, like, he's just like, if I only had my dad's notes, I would know, like, where that was going. And so he's reading the notes, and it's basically just, like, that his dad believed that Rorschach could be fixed or helped, and that, like, he was getting through to him. Reggie sees one day on the news the revelation about everything.
How about it was fake?
About how everything's fake.
Yeah.
He
all
blames...
bullshit.
Yeah, that's right. So he blames Vite. He now has, like, a name to blame for, like, his father's destruction and the dissolution of his, his whole family being destroyed.
Yeah.
He blames Vite, so he's like, now I have, like, a reason.
I have purpose.
I have purpose.
Yeah.
Reggie and Byron escape by causing a fire and burning the asylum down.
Hundreds
Wow.
of people died.
Yeah. They're going into the woods, and then Byron's like, hey, man, I gotta go. Like, good luck in your mission. And then he just goes and walks into the fire.
Oh my God. He is drawn to the flame.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
That's great.
When Reggie, like, makes it to, like, the first milestone, he opens up a knapsack that was made by Byron, and it has a note or a letter that is written to Reggie that's like, I was never gonna come with you. Like, but I hope you find what you're looking for, and remember to see what you want to see, and, like, you blah, 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 blah. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. So Reggie makes his way to the Arctic, wearing Rorschach's mask.
This was like a month before the events at the beginning of this book.
Yeah.
He becomes Rorschach in like a month?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was already
And
pretty
then
messed
forgets
up.
how to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
but
he
he
chooses
can, like,
to speak like that because he's Rorschach.
he has like
also
a grappling gun and stuff. Like,
and he goes to Veight's stronghold to kill him.
sure.
And when he gets there, Veight's like, good, you're here to kill me because I just found out I have a glioblastoma in my skull and I'm going to die anyway. And
Well, this is excellent timing.
yeah, and he shows like he feels horrible and remorse, and he's like, and that stays Reggie's hand, and it keeps him from killing Ozymandias, and instead the two of them like work together. Basically, Reggie sees the pain and remorse in Ozymandias, and he's like, oh, this is good enough.
Right.
Like the fact that he's going to die, the fact that he feels bad about it, and then he wants to make amends.
I want
I'm
him
in.
to keep feeling bad. There we go. I'll keep him alive.
Right. So then the two of them go and they execute their plan to steal Marionette.
And we're caught up to...
Exactly.
Okay. So everything's basically explained at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Except for...
Where the Superman theory
Well,
came
the
from?
Superman theory and also like the entire universe. Like, what did John do exactly?
Right. Well, we will explain what John does to make the DC universe the way it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So John does make the DC universe.
well, he
no.
fucks with it.
No, he just messes with it. The DC
Okay.
universe existed before John showed up.
Okay.
He
Because he
came
was going to
here.
be like, I'm going to go create some life.
Yeah,
of
he
my own.
said he
He
was
does-
going to, but like he didn't.
No. Well, he was on his way, but then he found the DC universe instead.
Oh.
So, of course, when Ozymandias got shot at and jumped out the window,
Yeah.
he was severely injured and he ends up in the hospital.
Well, yeah, he jumped out of LexCorp.
Yeah, he
he
jumped
doesn't have
out
a
a friggin'
parachute,
window.
man.
No, he lands on like awnings and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I planned it perfectly.
yeah. So Ozymandias frees himself from the hospital. He impersonates a police officer and makes his way like to hatch his plan.
Yeah.
When he gets Tubastis back.
Rescues two bastards.
Two bastards. So Perry White of the Daily Planet alters Lois Lane's article about the assassination attempt on Lex Luthor by saying that there was a metahuman assassin who tried to kill Lex Luthor. And Lois is like, I didn't say it was metahuman. You used that because that's the words that are being used currently to stow up public dissent. And he's like, yeah, and get clicks too.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, see that new lingo?
So Perry's a bastard. Okay.
He's like, I need to keep this. You want to get health insurance? We got to sell papers here.
Yeah. All right.
And he goes, listen, like, he was wearing a purple cape when he tried to kill Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
It's not too much of a stretch to assume he was a metahuman.
Wait, so they don't know about the comedian?
No.
Oh.
No, the comedian escaped.
Oh, okay. So they think it was...
It was Ozymandias that tried to
Ozymandias.
kill Lex Luthor.
I see. Yeah, because they found him outside. He jumped out the window.
Exactly,
Yeah, okay. That makes
exactly.
sense. Who are these fucking people?
Those are the Russian metahumans that work for Putin.
Oh, that's all the Russian metahumans.
Yes. Well, the ones that are worth a damn.
Yeah. See, they got some metahumans. It's not just the U.S.
Yeah. And maybe some of them were created by the Russian government to combat the Supermen of America.
Right. Oh, man.
So while Reggie was in Arkham, he bumps into Jane Doe. It's Saturn Girl. Saturn Girl from the Legion of Superheroes is here, and she is a psychic from the Legion of Superheroes who shouldn't exist, but she does anyway. She's here.
Yeah, I was going to say, she can't exist because the future team doesn't exist.
Right. But there are still like pockets of references and pieces from the previous timeline/universe.
Okay.
And she's one of them. And she knows she's of the Legion of Superheroes, and she can read minds, and she reads Reggie's, and she's like, your mind's a mess.
Does she know she's not supposed to be there?
She doesn't understand why there's no reference to her.
Okay.
Why don't people know who I am?
Yes, and
Okay.
the reason why she's in the asylum is because she thinks she's from the future, and they put her away.
Right, okay.
But Reggie's door just miraculously opens, and then he and Saturn Girl leave, and they get their costumes together. They break into a costume shop. She approximates a Saturn Girl costume, and Reggie approximates his Rorschach outfit as the Supermen theory starts to boil over. It starts to sow significant discord in rival governments to the Americans. The Russians, for example, Putin has assembled his own team of Russian loyalist metahumans.
Is one of them a bear that he can ride?
Unfortunately not.
So now the DC universe is heading in the same direction that the
As
Watchmen
Watchmen.
universe was.
Exactly.
With tensions,
Yeah.
geopolitical tensions, and
But not
arms
with nuclear
race,
weapons, but instead with
instead
metahumans.
of-
Which are
A
far
la-
more dangerous.
A la Kingdom Come.
Right.
Johnny Thunder escapes from his
Old folks
home. And
retirement facility.
Oh, we got a silver alert.
Hospice.
Yeah, we got a silver alert. He believes that all he needs to do is find his lamp and get the genie, and then everything will make sense, and he won't be 102 anymore, or irrelevant, or have lived this like miserable life.
Sure.
So he goes, and he wants to go to the All-American Steel Mill. All-American is the name of the comic from which he came, which is why it's called that.
Okay.
But the idea here is that like the lamp is connected tangentially via the JSA to Alan Scott's lantern.
I was going to ask if it was a connection to Alan Scott.
But Alan Scott, of course, he happens upon a magic lantern as he is involved in a train wreck and finds himself miraculously unharmed as a result of having possessed the Green Lantern, and then subsequently becomes the Green Lantern of the JSA in the 40s. Johnny Thunder was a member of that team, and so there's a connection there. And he has a horrible time. That's what matters there.
Yeah.
So when Ozymandias frees himself and Tubastis, he goes back to the ship, and when he gets there, Batman's in the cockpit, and he goes, "So you're Adrian Veidt. I've read all about you."
Now, how did Batman find Archie?
My assumption is he used a similar tachyon tracker from the button in his adventure with the Flash using that.
I like this concept that Batman knows that Rorschach is right, but he's like, you still have to be in the insane asylum.
Well, I
'cause
read
you're
the
crazy.
journal.
Well,
but
he's like, I can't let Rorschach run amok in my house.
Right.
I put him in an asylum because
he'll be safe
presumably
there.
that's where he belongs.
Right, and no one ever escapes from Arkham, so...
Well, usually they have powers. Or at the very least, they have like very significantly strong madness on their side.
Right.
Rorschach's just like a nuisance.
Yeah.
So he goes to Veidt and he deals with him.
Okay.
I love Comedian ends up at the bar where Marionette and Mime have been, because of course he's chasing after Veidt and his associates. And when the cops show up, he's there.
Right.
And he just goes, "I'm not here for you, so you don't see me." And they're like, "What are you talking about, man? We're going to arrest you." And he goes, "Okay, or you don't die and you didn't see me. You know this wasn't me. I'm just passing through." And they just let him go.
What?
Because he's just so scary.
Because he's just a terrifying man. Also, the scene that greets them is horrifying.
Yeah, it's a grisly scene. Marionette and Mime, of course, continue to attack and target Joker-centric gang areas to try and get the attention of the Joker, because they're interested in the Joker now.
Okay.
That's literally.
Yeah,
that's
there's
it.
like, oh, everyone's got a hard-on for this Joker guy. I guess we better find him.
Yeah, he's clown-themed. We're kind of clowns. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Batman and Ozymandias jump into Archie and they fly away. Basically, they're just having a conversation, and Batman's letting Ozymandias give him a lift.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he doesn't like freak out seeing this owl ship being like, "Oh, the Court of Owls has got to be behind this or something."
The Court of Owls regrettably shows up in this for a second,
Oh.
and I am 100% convinced it's because of the delays and editorial's desire to cement this into continuity.
Right. They're like, no, it's all part of it.
Yeah, because Snyder is cooking up his own shit.
Right.
And John's and Snyder's visions for the future of the DC Universe couldn't be more divergent. Because literally there's a sequence where the Court of Owls show up and they reveal there's a new character called the Judge of Owls. And his first and last appearance is that issue. Like Snyder goes, "Nope.
Not doing anything with the Judge of Owls.
I'm not doing that. That didn't. I invented the Court of Owls, and yes, I like using them, but no,
I didn't make that.
I didn't make that."
Fuck you, Johns. You can't just come in here and do this.
The list of metahumans who are assumed to be part of the Superman theory include characters like Firestorm,
Oh.
who
Was created in a lab.
he was created in a lab. It was a U.S. government facility. There's a scientist and a dude, seemingly at random.
Right.
But they are fused
What
together
if
to
it
become
wasn't
what
an
if-
accident?
Yes, that's right. That's the implication. And Firestorm's Russian counterpart and sometimes villain is all. He's like, "Yep, nope. I was made in the lab. He was made in the lab. We were made by our respective governments. I'm
Has
here."
to be.
And Firestorm's like, "No, that's horseshit." And
Right.
he's a kid. The Superman theory is total bullshit, and Posar's an asshole.
Wait, his villain counterpart's name is Posar?
Yeah. because he's a poser. He's not really Firestorm. And then we see another villain, Killer Frost, who's like, oh no, Firestorm's definitely one of them.
Wow. Okay. And so, do we know as the reader? Or are we like?
We don't know.
Are they right? Are those Russians right?
Right. That's what we're like. What the
Right.
fuck? What the fuck? What do you mean?
Okay.
This can't be.
Yeah.
Ugh, this is insane.
Exactly.
I got all these Firestorm books.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Lois goes to interview Lex Luthor in the hospital. Sam Lane, Lois's dad, who's a general.
Wait. Oh yeah, he was shot. I was like,
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
was
fall out a
shot by
window.
the
He got
comedian,
shot by
yeah.
the comedian. But Sam Lane is basically a Doctor Strange-Lovian character in this story, where he is just like, let's drop the bombs. We got to do it now.
Right.
Like he
Yeah.
is all up on
Preemptive strike.
Yeah. And Luther's like, hey, like I said no press, but I always make an exception for you, Lois. Like he is so arrogant and such a dipshit.
Well, in his mind, he just got proven the smartest man in all reality.
Yeah,
because he met Ozymandias.
I'm the smartest man in two worlds, at least. But no, Luther is high on a different realization that he hasn't revealed yet. Yeah, well, definitely morphine. But also, like, he has been doing some research, having bought up all those companies throughout the story,
Okay.
that imply that he is the fulcrum upon which a lot of really important shit rests. Like, he's like, I am more important than I thought I was, and I thought I was a pretty big deal.
God damn.
But
Okay.
But yeah,
Great.
But basically, Lois is like, she wants to get to the bottom of it. She's like, I know that dude who attacked you was not a metahuman. I want to know more about what's going on. Luther basically reveals to Lois, like, I know that the Superman theory was created by a metahuman who was created by the government. And I can't tell you who they are, but I can tell you they were a member of the Justice League once. So Johnny Thunder makes his way to the steel mill. He is attacked by tweakers. They try to murder him, but then Rorschach and Saturn Girl save him. They find the Green Lantern of Alan Scott in there, and then they team up. So we got different teams now.
They find it?
Yeah, it's in there. It is in the mill.
Okay.
It's been powering the mill this whole time.
Yeah. Ozymandias and Batman have this conversation where Ozymandias is like, you're stupid. Superheroes are dumb. Your revolving door asylums and prisons are like garbage. You never actually affect anything. Like he's like, I've been in your universe for like a couple days. I could save it.
How do you know all this?
Well, I've done my research.
I went to the library.
I went to the library
It's also
earlier.
probably just like mine.
It's just
Where
like mine,
superheroes are
but with
bullshit.
more dumb superheroes. Like
Right,
you guys
there's
are
a
like
lot more
powerful
of
and
you,
stuff.
yeah.
I read the Superman theory. It's nightmarish.
Right.
And you're stupid. And he just rolls Archie and just drops Batman out into the ensuing riot that is destroying Gotham. So
Who hate Batman?
Yeah, who hate
Right.
Batman.
Oh.
Right. Oh.
So Batman's beaten up while Marionette and Mime make their way up to the top of the GCPD, where they see that like the bat signal's been destroyed,
Oh.
and they bump into the Joker. So now we've got some teams. We've got Saturn Girl and Johnny Thunder and Rorschach.
Right.
We've got Marionette and Mime and Joker. We've got John somewhere, and
Who we haven't seen yet.
we haven't seen yet, who has not actually appeared in the story yet.
Other than like little clips of him, like being like, "Hey, I brought the comedian back."
Exactly, but yeah, even then we only see his feet.
We got the comedian out there somewhere.
Yep, comedian's there, and he's doing his own thing. So Joker... Oh, and there is another element and a big plot point regarding the Superman thing, which is that as the governments of the world are starting to turn against / create their own armies for metahumans, they're also like hunting down metahumans, and like they're trying to... Like they've created a technology that can identify the metahuman gene, which was established in Invasion, which is amazing because like that story sucks, and we covered it on this channel,
Yeah.
and it's referenced in this. That thanks to Invasion, we know that like one in 1,000 people have this metahuman gene, and if they go through a
Altering event.
a life-threatening trauma,
Yeah.
it could activate it, but most people live and die having never activated their metahuman gene.
Right.
Usually, the resultant powers are in some way connected to the life-threatening event that they were in.
Yeah.
And so we've discovered that there is a gene in people that makes them superheroes in this reality.
Yeah.
Is this civil war where people have to register with the government?
No, but certain governments, you can imagine which ones, develop like metal detector technology that like, oh, you're a metahuman, get in the concentration camp,
Right.
and we'll keep you there. And they're just... they're not concentration camps. Did I say concentration? I meant happy camps, where they're being kept in the lap of
They're being
luxury.
kept safe.
Yes, from themselves.
So that
and from
they
everyone
don't
else.
And any
encounter
traumatic experience to
life-
trigger them.
Exactly.
Yeah, life endangering experiences, so they won't become
Yes.
a problem.
Yes. So we've never really talked about this character before, but Black Adam is a Shazam villain.
Yes.
And he is thousands of years old, and he's supposed to be Shazam, but fucked up shit happened, and instead he is an evil Shazam that draws powers from Egyptian gods as opposed to the gods that are used for Shazam.
So instead of like saying Shazam, he has to say like the.
He says Shazam. It's just they stand for. It's just that the S, H, and A stand for different things.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you shouldn't have a lightning
Quite a
bolt then.
coincidence.
Indeed, it is.
Shazam is a very powerful magical word.
That's right. Black Adam winds up at this point basically becoming the ruler of a country called Kahndaq. It's made up for DC, just like Central City and everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
But Black Adam rules this country and is also a like anti-hero kind of character.
Okay.
Depending
This
on
is all real Black Adam.
It's all real Black Adam lore.
Okay.
But Black Adam rules Kahndaq, and Black Adam is like taking this opportunity to say to the world and to the metahumans at large, your governments don't care about you, they're selling you out, they're lying about you.
Oh my God.
Come to Kahndaq and you will be safe.
Thanks, Magneto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Black Adam is
Jesus.
basically amassing his own army of metahumans
Oh.
who are
Jeez.
defecting to Kahndaq and becoming like citizens, but really they're part of his private army. The Supermen theory went from being like a rumor. I love it. In the beginning of the story, they were like, oh, they used it. They used a brilliant literary device where it kept being used in quotations until it started to become more popular, and then they just dropped the quotations. They called it the Superman theory. No, it is real.
Right.
And
It's definitely it's definitely happening.
and we have no actual evidence to support it, but enough people have corroborated that it is real enough
Right.
for us to buy it.
People said it enough that now it's real.
And governments are buying in. Like,
Right.
literally, the Russian government's like, it's real. The Americans are doing it. We're actually going to start amassing our own, like, WNDs in the form of people to deal with it.
Okay.
It's a great, amazing chapter that shows you the origin of Marionette Mime. I don't want to get into it too much because there's not much to do with it. It just it allows you to understand the motivations of Marionette Mime. Marionette is the daughter of an immigrant doll maker, and they owned a like marionette doll shop.
Right.
And across the street, Mime was the son of the store owners there, and was mute and was basically ignored by his family. And both of them were dogged by the local mob who demanded protection money.
Oh, so they grew up together.
They grew up together.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Marionette's father realizes that he will never be free of these people, and so he hangs himself and writes a letter to his daughter that says, like, the only thing I can give you is my life, and they will leave you alone now.
Please tell me he doesn't hang
wow.
himself with the marionettes.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
God damn it.
He's a marionette puppeteer. It's a great visual image of him hanging with his puppets. But the two of them hook up and seek righteous vengeance against their tormentors, and they never leave each other's side again.
Okay.
We see this as Joker has procured Batman.
Oh.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, from the angry mob?
from the angry mob. Yeah, we don't see him get him, but I presume Joker just shows up and goes, "Get the fuck out of the way!" And everyone
everyone's just like,
immediately
"Ah!"
acquiesces. So Joker ties Batman to a wheelchair and just is taking him to a meeting that is taking place. And he's like, "It's the Legion of Evil or the grouping of darkness," whatever nickname they want to call themselves this week. But everyone's getting together. They bump into Mr. Freeze's goons who are like wearing parkas, and they think that Mr. Freeze was arrested, and so they join Joker's gang where they get like these horrible tetanus-infected tattoos of the Joker. When they all get to the meeting, Mr. Freeze is there, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we're screwed." Doesn't matter. The point is, Joker is bringing Marionette Mime to this meeting under duress, like they are hostages of the Joker, by his henchmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we know they're going to escape, and they know they're going to escape, and it's like eventually Marionette and Mime
They're just going along for now.
find their way to get the henchman killed. Joker shoots one, maybe by accident, maybe not, and then he goes, "All right, come on, let's drop the pretense of you being my prisoner. Let's just go." So Joker, Marionette, Mime, and Batman wheel into this like abandoned subway station, where they run into all these villains. And Riddler has called the meeting, and it's so great because Riddler's like, "Okay, so everything's falling apart. The world's going tits up. It's time for us to act." And they're like, "Dude, no."
Right.
Like they all have their own plans.
We're not gonna team up.
No, the Rogues Gallery offers to use Mirror Master to help anyone who has powers to go to Kahndaq. He's like, for a price, of course. And Captain Boomerang's like sometimes a member of the Rogues, but also he's been more prominently a member of the Suicide Squad. And he's like, screw it. They sent the Suicide Squad into Kahndaq a week ago. We've never seen him again. Don't go there. And it's great because Riddler's like, no, come on, guys. Like, we're losing focus here. Right. And then Joker shows up and he's like, ladies and gentlemen. And Riddler's like, oh no, not Joker. I'm not done. Come on.
I was finally going to be a big shot.
Yeah, nope.
I was going to have a movement.
Yeah.
Is that not John?
No, that's Typhoon. Typhoon is a metahuman who is also, according to the appendices, created via the Superman theory.
Okay, because he has like the same bizarre underwear as John and the same blue skin. He just has hair.
Yeah.
He's like the Lex Luthor 2 of John.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But his face explodes because Comedian shows up and he's like, oh man, this is going to be great. And he just starts shooting everybody.
Oh,
he's just opening fire. He's killing Court of Owl members. He blew Typhoon's face off.
Typhoon was invented for this book, right?
No, Typhoon was a character.
Oh,
just,
shit.
Fuck Typhoon. The
Comedian just killed him. Guy from another universe
I
just
retconned
killed
that
him.
he was created by this thing we just made up.
Yep.
And I blew his face off by the Comedian from the Watchmen books.
Okay.
Riddler yells at Comedian and Comedian shoots his kneecap off.
Oh, shit.
And starts like blowing shit up. He's like throwing grenades. And Joker's like, what a perfect day this turned out to be. Like, this play is amazing.
I never anticipated this. This is wonderful.
No! Marionette and Mime escape. They go to a hotel. They bang.
Thank God we're free. Now we can have sex again.
They are so lovey-dovey. I'm shocked they don't bang at the end of every scene they're in. But they bang. Comedian shows up. He's like, I knew where you were going. Like, I followed you. And so he's going to blow them away. And then Joker hand buzzers the Comedian, makes fun of him, takes his button.
Oh.
And then just like, trying to make this a three-way.
Yeah, but maybe. He puts it on his lapel, and they're like, you know, we were just thinking maybe the Comedian knows where Dr. Manhattan is. And Joker's like, that sounds great because it hurts when I smile. I could use a dentist. Because he assumes like Dr. Manhattan is like the name of like a dentist or something.
Right.
But like, hey, hurts when I smile. So I guess I know which Joker this is, except it looks just like the other Joker. Oh, which Joker is it, Johns?
No, they all hurt when they smile.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
I mean, they all fell in the acid, right? So they should have the same symptoms.
Yeah, but only the criminal complained about it.
Yeah. All right.
There's also a really fun device that they use throughout the book where, as each chapter goes, this
pool of red
gets closer to the Doomsday clock as it gets closer to Doomsday.
Right.
12 o'clock being represented by Superman's logo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, like each issue is another minute closer.
Fun mashup
and
of
each.
So the blood's coming down, the clock's ticking up.
Oh no!
Shit!
So Ozymandias in Archie picks up Rorschach, Johnny Thunder, and Saturn Girl.
He's like, I need Rorschach.
Okay, I'm getting the team back together.
The band back together. Here we go.
Who's this Saturn Girl person?
You mean, are you being Ozymandias?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like the fact that she's a telepath.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. I can think enough thoughts and cloud my mind.
That's right. No.
What about this lamp? I see the lamp's coming into play here.
They just explain the origin of... Actually, it's not even Johnny Thunder's lamp. It is the origin of Green Lantern's lantern. That Alan Scott's Green Lantern came from a meteorite that landed, and a mystic found it, made it into a lamp, and then he was murdered. The lamp was taken, it was melted down and turned into a lantern, and then that lantern was thrown into a steel mill where it was found by Johnny Thunder, several decades later.
Okay. And then I guess put back there?
Yeah.
for them to find now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether
Or
they,
it was always
They
there.
were not meant to find it, but
Right.
there it is.
Yeah.
Tubastis acts like a magnet. He's going to pull us to Dr. Manhattan. Let's go.
Right.
I got everybody I need. I got everybody I
Getting
need.
back on track after.
Yeah, excuse me. Got to steer things back to the way things are going. So by the way, like, as exploitative as it is, as like horrible as it is, like the concept herein, the image of Joker wearing the button, it's kind of neat.
Well, it's got a smile.
Like, admittedly, as an image of itself, it's like, oh, like that's a neat
Yeah.
idea. If only there was some depth to it.
Right.
So Joker's lair is like, one of his many madhouses filled with like fun shit. I love how he assumed, he made a point of saying when he goes and rescues Marionette and Mime from Communion, he says like, I assumed that you were sent here by Harley because my birthday is coming up.
Ah.
Because like, look at you guys.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn does not show up in this book.
Oh.
She is on, like there's a picture of her in Joker's lair.
Right.
Yeah,
But
of
she
the
doesn't-
new Harley.
Yeah, but she doesn't factor in, which I really appreciate.
Well, she can't factor in. She's a superhero now.
Right. She's a pillar of the DC universe. So Marionette and Mime are gonna like torture Comedian until he explains like what's going on, where their son is, and because that's the whole thing they want to know.
Right.
So they start to torture him, and as they're torturing Comedian, Mime turns, and Marionette's like, "What is it?" And Mime makes a Batman face, and Batman's freed himself, and so they fight, and the fight is brutal. I love this fight between Marionette, Mime, and Batman.
And what is Joker doing all this?
He's just having a blast.
He's just laughing.
He's loving the chaos. He pulls out his flamethrower. He makes a phallic reference with it.
Look, it's my dick.
It's my dick. Do you get it?
And fire's coming out. I must have an STD.
So yeah, he goes, come on, somebody laugh. And then Rorschach shows up and goes, no time for laughing.
Oh, why is Rorschach here?
Because they all showed up. Remember, Ozymandias was pulled here.
Oh,
via Tubastis.
John's here?
Ozymandias uses Tubastis, and in conjunction with the Lantern, he winds up pulling John to that location. He needs to find Marionette and Mime because he wants to use Marionette to get John to convince to go back and fix everything.
He was looking for Marionette
He's looking for Marionette and Mime,
yes.
and he uses Tubastis to do it because, of course, they have tachyons from the same universe.
Right.
So they wind up there. They all get together.
Magic Lantern.
Yeah. Adrian grabs Tubastis and the Lantern, puts them together, and it pulls John there.
Oh.
So Dr. Manhattan
like, hey,
finally
what up?
appears. Coincidentally, everyone that John would need to talk to and is from the Watchmen universe is within John's sphere of influence. He cuts a circle around them and takes them away, leaving Batman and Joker by themselves.
It's like you're not even supposed to be here.
Yeah, we're not going to see a scene where Batman matches wits with Dr. Manhattan, and I'm sorry to say, you'll never see that.
Oh, it doesn't happen?
That would be
Does not
cool.
happen in this book,
Yeah, because Batman needs to freaking repair his wrist.
right?
Yeah.
So
You probably cut some
severely
tendons
injured.
there or something.
So
No, he's fine.
So John cuts the circle, and Adrian goes, I just want to talk. And John goes, let's talk.
All right.
So he Venetian blinds us to a pretty area where they have a conversation. And he says, you've gone a long way for nothing, man. Because I'm not going back. Like, I'm not fixing this.
busy.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
Look at all these fun people here. I can't go back now. I'm in the middle of my
I'm in the
soap.
middle of something, yeah. He says, you thought that, maybe I might have changed my mind about murdering these two because of the baby, but it's not. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's pregnant.
Oh.
And Marionette goes, what did you do with my child? And Manhattan goes, which child? And she goes, what do you mean which? And he goes, oh, sorry, you're pregnant again. And they're like, oh, so they're off. They're off off of Adrian's plan.
Yeah.
They still want to know where their son is, but they're gonna have another.
Well, we're gonna
They
get
kinda don't
another
care as
one.
much.
They care less. They're more excited that they're gonna have another kid. Manhattan's like, I'm not gonna help you, Adrian. I'm disappointed in you. And Rorschach goes, no, he's changed. He got cancer and he's different. And Manhattan goes, Adrian doesn't have cancer.
Oh, he lied?
Yep.
Ugh.
Does Rorschach just kill him?
Rorschach goes, well, why did you lie? And he goes, well, I needed your help. You see what you want to see, man. And he's like, he goes, I knew everything about you before you even walked through the door.
I'm the smartest man in the world,
Yeah,
buddy.
You're an idiot. I put you together. You want, you think that you were taking up the mantle of a character that's like a superhero that like was your friend of your dad's. He destroyed your father. His worldview infected your father, and his cynicism destroyed your parents' marriage.
Oh, jeez.
Rorschach ruined your life, and you're wearing his mask, you stupid asshole.
Hey, we have a Red Hood analog.
Right?
Oh my God. Fight, you douche.
I know, he's such a monster.
Yeah.
So Manhattan, he blinks to Washington, D.C., where the riots are getting worse.
Oh.
The riots, you see them in Metropolis and Gotham and D.C. Like, this is what America looks like. It's just overwhelmed by, like...
I don't understand why people are so mad about this metahuman thing.
Right. Well...
And why they're taking it out on Batman?
I guess the idea... Well, right, why Batman specifically?
Why is Batman such
The DC universe built a Flash museum. These people worship superheroes.
Right.
Well, yeah, they are akin to gods.
And if they were just manufactured by the government, it takes away something like honest
Some of the
and pure
specialness of
about
it.
them.
Yeah, okay.
And like, if I can't trust these characters, then what can I trust? And why would the government lie to me? And it's like such a big lie. It sows such incredible discord within the country that it like splits it apart. Plus, the threat of nuclear or metahuman annihilation from foreign and domestic threats
Right.
becomes even more.
But that's always been the case. You've always had metahumans that could destroy the world.
Yeah,
they fight against each other so that they don't.
They weren't paraded on TV by Putin.
Yeah, they weren't
Talking
they weren't
about
under
how they were gonna
control
deal
of
with
these
it.
like horrible, fallible Earth governments. They were. You could imagine that they were maybe good people doing their own thing, just like everyone.
Yeah.
And now I find out that like, oh, they're actually part of the government, which is like corrupt and horrible in a lot
I
of
never
cases.
trusted the government to begin with.
Well, yeah,
And as
and
you
now
can
there's
see,
like
like-
this threat from other governments
Yes.
having them. So it's like, look what you did. You created this like nightmare. They're like nuclear missiles.
Thematically speaking, what really happens is because of the distrust in superheroes, hope starts to fade within the hearts of the citizenry throughout the DC universe. And Manhattan says as much, where he's like, I thought I might like join these guys, but I looked into their future and I saw hopelessness. I looked at their best, and the last thing I see is his hope fade, and then nothing. Like, I am done talking to you.
And that's all you get.
He winds up taking them into the past, into a Nathaniel Dusk screening, and they're like, "What are you doing? What is this?" And he's like, "Carver Coleman was a guy who was full of hope too one time." But of
In
course-
this universe that you're not from.
yeah, you don't know who that is, but like, take it from me.
He was a guy who was full of hope.
And he didn't have it at the end either.
Yeah.
In fact,
Therefore, I am right.
I was wrong about what I said at the end of Watchmen, where nothing ends.
Right.
Actually, everything ends. The whole conceit of the end of Watchmen for Dr. Manhattan was wrong.
Right.
He's like, no, everything ends, and I'm going to show you. Anyway, get out of here.
Okay, and the world?
No, just more like, I've been doing my own experiments here, and they all lead to the thesis that is everything ends.
Interesting. So he's trying to alter
He's already
history?
altered.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, go to the source wall. Tell me what you think then.
Right? Yeah, don't go back there, though, because Perpetua is there. That becomes a problem. Anyway, so they get blinked back to Joker's lair, and Adrian's like, okay, that didn't work, but if I call him again, then he'll have to listen to me.
What?
And then Rorschach kicks him in the face, and he's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And Joker's like, I don't know what I missed, but that was amazing. And Batman's like, okay, Joker, well, time to take you to Arkham. And Joker like grabs Batman's face and electrocutes his body, and it becomes a big mess. I love it because then like Rorschach beats the shit out of Adrian, and then Joker offers to help Rorschach. He's like, well, a little constructive criticism, I may. And then Rorschach beats the shit out of Joker, and as he's standing over Joker, Joker wipes the blood off his mouth, and then draws a smile on Rorschach's face. And then Rorschach rips off his mask and he leaves.
Oh, he doesn't continue beating the Joker to
I'm
death?
done with Rorschach.
Nah, he just leaves. Yeah, Rorschach is dead. And he becomes a homeless person living among Gotham.
Oh, okay.
Adrian gets on...
Well, he literally doesn't have a home here. That is fair.
Yes, but he doesn't go anywhere. He just sits on the streets.
Okay.
Without his mask. Adrian gets back on Archie. Saturn Girl's like, what's going on here? And he goes, I guess you could say I learned some things the hard way. And Saturn Girl goes, wait a minute. I can read your thoughts, and that's not supposed to happen. And then Adrian punches her in the face.
Uh-oh.
And he's like, nope, I've got this. I just need a little bit more information, but once I do, I think I can save everybody.
Oh, God.
I've got this.
It's going to be the same plan.
Yeah, I got this. I got this.
I'm going to show everyone a giant squid monster. They haven't seen it
Yeah,
here.
exactly. I'll even show everyone.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Whatever it is, it's threatening the whole future of the DC universe. And Saturn Girl's like, no, that's
no,
not.
you're not supposed to do that. John then proceeds to explain that, like, 1 month in the future, I see Superman, and he is screaming in my face and coming to kill me. And right before he makes contact, I see nothing, and I can't see the future. So either he kills me or I end everything.
Oh.
But either way, everything ends. Like, even for me.
Right.
And that's the realization or the revelation that gives John his futile hopelessness.
Why wouldn't he have seen that already, though? Because he saw all time.
He did already see that. It's just that we get to find out now that because at the end of Watchmen, he's like, I'm gonna go and create some shit. But instead, he went up to the DC universe and he's like, this place is interesting. And so he finds the most hopeful
but why
among
didn't he
them.
already know that he was going to do that?
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good question. So as John is walking across the surface of this different Mars, the photo of John Osterman and Jenny floats to the surface.
Did he bring it? I guess he brought it with him from his universe.
There is a whole thing about the photo.
Oh, all right.
Is it?
Here we go. Oh, so now we get to catch up with his history?
No.
Oh. Like how he got what he did when he first gets to the DC universe and everything?
Oh, yeah, we do. We get that.
All right.
Okay.
So Ozymandias breaks into the White House and steals some documents and reads them and says, this will do nicely.
Okay. How does he do that?
Well, he impersonates somebody. He's super smart.
That's all we see.
Tubastis. It's the answer.
How do you know it's the White House? Oh, it's got the seal.
Yeah, it's the
And
oval,
Tubastis
everything's a
sitting there on the seal.
Yeah.
Looking all adorable.
He's so cute.
They do a good job of drawing that cat.
Yeah.
Lois is mailed a mysterious package. It arrives on her desk. She's about to read it when the news breaks that Firestorm, in a fit of rage, broke Russian airspace and attacked Poser. And I love it because Perry's like, this is it, folks. Who wants to go to Moscow? Lane and Kent are like, right here.
Yep.
So Firestorm is attacked by, like, the Russian equivalent of the Justice League.
Yeah.
And his flame is snuffed out. He lands among the Russian people. They start tearing him apart, and he erupts with power and turns all of the people in the square into glass.
Oh, shit.
And he's like, fuck. He bails, and now everyone's like, look at what the American-made superhuman did to these people in Moscow.
Oof. Yep.
Clark flies as Superman. He goes to Kondak, and Superman's like, I just want to talk to him about what happened. And Black Adam's like, he's not here, but he's welcome here. Adam had earlier attacked Syria and has created an international incident in his own right.
Oh.
So Kondak's looking pretty bad.
Right.
Okay.
And the world is, going to descend into chaos. Lois opens the mysterious package at her house. She checks the flash drive and watches a little video about the Justice Society of America.
Which never existed.
There's like, saboteurs, spies, and fascists. Only the Justice Society of America can stop them. Like, the what?
Okay. Oh, they got a Flash, too. That's weird.
Yeah.
And a Green Lantern, but it's totally different.
Who's weak to wood? I guess
that's way lamer than being weak to yellow.
Is it? I'd say it's pretty much even, Steven.
You can coat anything in yellow.
Yeah.
At least wood still burns.
Yeah, that's true. You could just cut a stitch and just whap him. So, anyway, Superman ultimately finds Ronnie Firestorm. He's hiding in like a silo, and he has taken a glass boy, and he's trying to use his powers, and he's
To like
pleading.
bring him back.
Yeah.
Oof.
And he's pleading with the professor part of him to like show him the chemical formula that he needs to use to make him a
Right.
person again. And Superman's like, "What's going on, Ron?" And he's like, "Superman, I don't know what I did." It's just this heartbreaking sequence where he's like, I didn't want you to do this, and I just want to fix it." And Superman's like, "Hey, listen, you made this happen. You can do it."
Right. Maybe you can undo it. Yeah.
No, you can.
Right.
You already did it. Like, you've done it once, you can do it again. Just do it. Just undo it. And
Oh, just undo it. Just okay. No, I'll just do that.
yeah, but Superman has the calming effect on him.
Right.
And he's just like,
I don't know. I
and
believe.
he goes, "Well, you got to get out of here if I'm going to expel this much energy." And he goes, "No, I'm going to stand. I'm right here. I got it."
Yeah.
So Superman stands by him, and Ronnie uses his powers, and the boy is saved.
I'd love it
Oh,
if
wow.
he wasn't, and Superman's like, okay, bad try on the first attempt.
Right.
Let's get another glass person. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. So Putin goes to the square, surrounded by these glass members of his citizenry,
Right.
and he's like, "I'm declaring war on America. They declared
Right.
war on me." And then, yeah,
Wow,
and
yeah.
Superman shows up, and he's like, "Okay,
Okay.
let's dial things back." And Putin's like, "Ah, good, Superman, you're here because you don't speak for the American government. You're not from there. Like, you're an alien.
Right.
So you are the only one." And that's the whole thing that like Johns wants you to understand about this whole thing in the Superman theory is that
Right.
Superman's above the theory.
Right.
And everyone's like, "Okay, well, we can all trust Superman.
Yeah.
But everything else is fair game, especially Batman,
Right. Especially Batman.
who has no powers."
Right.
So, Posar's like, "Well, you got to hand over Firestorm. He's the one who fucked this up. He's got
Right.
to answer to this people."
Right.
And Superman's like, "Listen, there's still hope. What happened is an accident." And so he gets in front of the podium and in front of the TV cameras that were playing for Putin.
Right.
And he addresses the nation where he's talking about like the Superman theory. And Batman is in a bat plane on his way, and he's like, "Ah, shit!" And he like hits a switch that sets his mic to a frequency only Superman can hear. And he's like, "Clark, stop what you're doing, stop talking." And it gives Clark pause, but he still keeps going. And he's like, because what Clark is monologuing is that the persecution of metahumans is wrong. And Batman's like, "You can't pick a side."
Right.
And so as Batman is telling him not to pick a side, Superman says, "The persecution of any humans, meta or otherwise, is wrong."
Right.
And that immediately turns the world against Superman because they're like, he picked metahumans. He's defending them.
Right.
Firestorm just did this to human beings. They want him to answer for his crimes, and Superman's defending him and not handing him over. And he's talking about how, no, like, you're persecuting these people because of their differences from you. That's wrong.
Right.
And Putin's like, "Nope, this guy,
He's like, he's an
stooge."
agent.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 So then Ronnie arrives, and he brought the boy, and he's like, "Okay, everybody, I got it. I can figure this out." And then the military start shooting at him,
Right.
Because he's an enemy of the state, and they start shooting, and their bullets start hitting the people made of
Right.
glass. And
Oh,
Ronnie's like, "No,
God.
stop!
I gotta fix this.
Yeah, no, I can't fix. They're broken." Like, and the Russian metahumans are like, "Superman's here. Do we fight him?" And they're like,
Right.
"Go!" So then the
God.
I imagine
metahumans attack.
The Russian metahumans are like, we don't want to do this.
Yeah. Putin gives the okay. The tanks start rolling in. They roll over the people, and Superman's
God.
like, "No!" And Superman hits the tank.
Yeah.
And that's the photo everyone
Yep.
sees is Superman attacking this government's military.
Yep.
Oh, Batman. Damn it. So Ronnie is blasting.
Superman should be fast enough to stop the tanks before anyone gets crushed.
Well, he was dealing with the metahumans attacking him. And only a couple people got crushed by the tanks, but
Okay.
it's still like every shatter is a life lost that didn't have to be lost. And Ronnie's just like he's like scooping up people, and he's like, "I can't fix this," and he starts overloading.
There's like pieces of them
Yeah,
everywhere. Oh, God.
if I make that flesh, it'll just be gross. The bat plane is heading towards the area. He's just trying to get there, and he's telling Clark like, "Hey, listen, the energy readings are spiking. You got to stop him." And Superman puts his hand on Ronnie's shoulder. He's like, "Hey, you got to stop." And Batman's like, "No, stop, Clark. It's not Firestorm that's doing this." And then Ronnie seemingly erupts with blue energy. Batman's downed. And Ozymandias, in his new lair with modern LCD screens, is watching the news broadcast, and he's like, "Excellent."
Oh, this is much better.
Yeah.
Look at how flat they all are.
Yeah, look at the high def.
Yeah, these wonderful news stories.
Yeah, which are, by the way, are excellently depicted. Like, I love them.
Which one? Oh, Daily Planet.
Yes, Superman missing.
Superman
That's
missing.
the one they're doing.
Oh. What happened now, Perry?
Yeah.
You're not going after the big scoop?
No. So Dr. Manhattan is revealing everything. This is the issue where we find out a lot of shit.
Okay.
Dr. Manhattan is standing on the surface of Mars. He grasps a Legionnaire ring with blood stained on it, not unlike the button itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, he tells the story of a member of the Legion of Superheroes who dies and their Legionnaire ring like floats through space. He also talks about an engineer on a train named Alan Scott who reaches for a green magic lantern. I move the lantern 6 inches away from his grasp, the train derails, he dies, the Legionnaire ring disappears.
Huh.
That Dr. Manhattan is the reason there is no JSA or Legion of Superheroes. That when Dr. Manhattan first arrived,
Right.
he was like, oh, this is interesting. And the more information he gleans from what he observes, the more interested he becomes in experimentation. And so one of those things is like the ripple effect. And he,
Right.
he
wants to
unmakes
see
the-
what would happen if there was no JSA.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but not because he's like, fuck the JSA or they're boring. It's
Right.
It's that.
What if there was a world without heroes?
No, I think
No.
it's...
It's
It looks to be just like, what happens if I change one thing in this universe?
well, it's more specific. I don't want to get to it right
Okay.
away.
Okay.
But
You see he's doing it. And
yeah,
You don't know
and
what
he
his
reveals
point
doing
is.
it.
Yeah.
This chapter is called Crisis. Every superhero traces the energy signature that was taken in Moscow to Mars. And everyone goes, so the DC universe fights Dr. Manhattan.
Huh.
We see every
Okay.
ship and every representative of the DC universe. We got the Lantern Corps, like people from space and Genesis, the Justice League, the Doom Patrol, the Justice League Dark, the Bat Family. Only the Charlton characters get their own ship.
There. We have one too.
After the devastation of Moscow, Superman and Batman are recovered. Batman gets back to the cave. Superman is sent into a secret lair within the Hall of Justice in DC,
Oh.
and he's in a coma,
Healing coma, right?
more or less.
Yeah.
So all of the superheroes have left to fight what they believe is the big bad.
The Russian superheroes, are they also going?
Nope.
No.
So
No, because they think it was like Superman or whatever.
yeah.
Even though it was a blue flash.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess were they destroyed? Because they were right there.
Yeah. No, because
What
they come up.
happened?
They can't be
exactly?
because
Right.
Batman didn't die.
Right. Well, what it seems like is Firestorm went ballistic
Yeah,
Right.
he went nuclear.
and blew everything up. But we know, because it's blue,
Right.
that we're meant to assume that John intervened
You're right.
and blew them up.
Right.
But it can't be because it was
But
too
John
fast.
wouldn't do that because it was too Bastus.
Right.
So
That's
we'll,
why-
we'll get to why that is in the.
Yeah, that's why
while.
Vite was just like, oh, yes,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
But who died?
All those glass people.
Well, the glass people, yeah. But not the Russian
Not the metahumans,
superheroes.
no.
I guess not Putin?
I guess
Is
not.
he dead? He was
I-
right there.
he really should be. Maybe the metahuman saved him.
Okay.
Maybe Posar saved him.
Yeah.
I love that Wonder Woman is not really in the story much because like the Themyscirians are like, it's all falling apart, go get Wonder Woman. They send all the Amazons, they collect her off panel. Wonder Woman is just like literally kidnapped by the Themyscirians and brought back to Paradise Island.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Batman is like being tended to by Alfred. He, wakes up and he just sets up camp in the cave because he's like, okay, I'm figuring this out. I'm like half step ahead of everybody else.
Right.
I have the journal. I should be able to piece it together.
Yeah, no man, that happened like 30 years ago.
Damn it.
Ronnie and Professor Stein were separated, and they are recovered and put in one of the ships that is heading towards Dr. Manhattan.
Oh.
Ronnie's like, I want to kick ass, and Stein's like, we shouldn't even be here. So the heroes
And
engage.
Batman said it wasn't even Firestorm, but now we're seeing the two people
Firestorm.
that make up Firestorm, and they're
They were
there.
recovered, and they were brought with the heroes.
So
to
it
go.
was Firestorm.
Firestorm was used, but he was not the culprit. It was made to look like Firestorm.
Oh.
Firestorm was the tool.
Yes. No, they didn't even use him. It's just that they
He was
used.
he was just there.
Oh, his proximity. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone who was watching assumed it was Firestorm because why would they assume a naked blue foreigner blew up the the
Right.
square?
Yeah, they've never even seen that guy.
When he said it's not Firestorm, he meant the energy readings he was seeing. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because when I first read it, I thought that Dr. Manhattan was impersonating Firestorm.
Yeah.
Like, for the New 52, Dr. Manhattan had been Firestorm the whole time and was
Right.
playing a part. But no, it was
Says
just
it's not Firestorm. He didn't mean that guy's not Firestorm.
No, it means
he
the
means
energy you're
this
reading.
reading I'm seeing on
not
my
Firestorm.
scopes or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
One of the lanterns, Jesse Cruz, discovers Osterman's photograph. And she's like, what is this?
Why is there this weird tile floor here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, and we see the file, the Firestorm file.
yeah, well, that's on the... okay, so... it's all going sideways.
Right.
Every American superhero and every member of every super team that you read a book about gets in a ship of some kind and flies to Mars to fight Dr. Manhattan because they believe that the energy signatures that they saw from Firestorm's attack was Dr. Manhattan. The president's aides are like, so yeah, no, there is like a Superman theory and it is real. And all the heroes are gone and like you need to step up, Mr. President. Like you got to start like leading.
Right.
Superman theory was real? Why wasn't I aware of this?
They give him the Firestorm
plausible
file.
deniability, sir.
That's right, exactly. So he gets the Firestorm file. What does that mean? Oh my God.
Right. It means that the theory was right.
Yep. Well, or parts of it were.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Or they have a file on him anyway, and you need to say that that you disavow.
You need to
him
get
or
ahead of
whatever.
this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Luther goes to the basement of the Hall of Justice.
Oh man, we haven't seen him in a while.
I know. And he's like, hey Lois, did you get the drive I sent you? Did you get that thing I sent you?
Oh.
And she's like, if you're here to kill Superman, you'll have to do it over my dead body. He's like, I'm not going to hurt Superman today.
That's right.
I don't want it to
That's
be an
not my
unfair
plan
fight. It's
right
no good if
now.
he's like this and I beat him.
By the
Right.
way, like also, it was Lex had just been a member of the Justice League like a couple months before, like the first issue of Doomsday. I was like, come on. But yeah, no, he's Lex Luthor. The Lex Luthor that you remember. He's a villain.
Right.
Right, Sam?
He's a villain. Yeah, you looked over there, but it came from over here.
So Ronnie and Stein start like yelling at each other. Stein's like, we should be going home for what happened in Moscow. Like, we should turn ourselves in. This is wrong.
Right.
Ronnie's like, I want to kick some blue naked ass.
Right.
So we're going to be
Damn it,
Firestorm.
Ronnie.
He grabs him and they become Firestorm. He's like, let's go. I'm driving.
Yeah.
The lanterns create a bubble around Mars so that Manhattan can't leave.
Okay.
Should that work?
Well, they think it works.
They think it'll work because they're the
Yeah.
lanterns. Batman tries to send a message to Mars. He's like, how do I send a message to Mars? How long will it take, commuter? How long will it take to send a message to Mars? About 14 minutes. He's like, damn it. He sends the message, and the heroes engage Dr. Manhattan.
Oh boy.
Oh, good. He created a new glass palace.
We got a big
yeah.
fight on Mars. I guess the lanterns also create like air, so people can.
No,
friggin'
Firestorm
breathe.
creates air,
Oh, because he can transmute
like molecules.
molecules.
Because yeah, like Stein's like, I won't be part of this. I'm not gonna help you. And Firestorm's like, I don't need your help to make air. I know what molecules it takes to make air.
Do you?
Are you sure the percentages are right? It's mostly nitrogen. I think 79%.
Yeah, like
71 or 79.
he's done it enough times. He remembers the formula.
Yeah. Okay.
So he makes air, and then they're all walking around and like, this is neat.
I know how to make glass.
You see a lot of like fun stuff. Guy Gardner's the first one there. He's like, hey, Blue Man Group, you should put some pants on. We're the Green Lantern Corps. We kicked ass. Look, we pants Darkseid. We slapped the Anti-Monitor around. We beaten Doomsday and all kinds of shit. We're badasses. We even beat alternate reality Batman. John's like,
Oh. Yep. That happened. Don't worry. I got you.
I got you. I got you back, Snyder. Scott's like, I don't
So
need your
slip that
fucking
in.
help.
What does John think of the fact that John from the other universe is hanging out on his home turf?
Oh man, he doesn't get upset. He's more just trying to talk to him
Right.
and uses telepathy. It doesn't work.
Right.
He just wants.
Is he like, this is blasphemy? You've created this structure here on my home planet,
It's
and
garish, it's gaudy.
Nothing what the original Martians would have planned.
Yeah, no, he has no problem with that. He just says, from your mind, I can see you're confused. And John goes, only for a second. In 5 seconds, you will broadcast to everyone the thought you read most clearly, my final vision of Superman. And they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean your final vision of Superman? That sounds pretty ominous. And Guy Gardner's like, enough! And he just jumps over and he punches John in the face and snaps his neck.
Oh.
And he falls down and goes, oh shit. I didn't mean to kill him, but yeah, to kill him. And then John like pops up
yeah, it's like that's it.
and he just goes, let me see that. And he takes the ring
Oh.
like off of Guy's hand. And he goes, look at that. This is energy and motion coalesced and manufactured into a power by the ring. I find it difficult to affect. And then John Constantine goes, well, if you think that's going to be hard, how about magic? And then they all...
So they all just use their stuff on him.
Yeah, well, first the Just League Dark attack. So, like, Etrigan, like, breathes hellfire on him, and Zatanna shoots magic at him, and he goes, you think you're wielding magic?
Mm.
So what?
It's some quantum thing.
It's one of my favorite sequences in the book. He says, the magic swirls around me, he just collects it. He's like, I gotta look at this. What you think is magic is the remnants of creation itself, like the energy that it took to make reality. There's runoff, like random errors in computer code that are discarded and forgotten, and ironically collected by the discarded and forgotten of your little cast of characters, and you believe it's magic. And then he like wields it and morphs it, and like it feels good to learn, and then just blasts them all away. I'm just like, oh, like just like that. John's is like, this is what magic is in the DC universe. I just explained magic. It's Big Bang runoff.
Yeah, it's like energy.
It's discarded energy that the universe doesn't have use for.
Right.
I kind of don't like the fact that magic was explained.
Right.
I feel like magic should be magic.
I know who wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
So Ronnie is like, you don't know what you're dealing with, man. I'm going to fuck up your day. And Dr. Manhattan's like, you don't know what you're dealing with, dude. And he just blasts him with energy. And then Manhattan and Ronnie appear at his origin.
Oh.
They're at the nuclear plant where there are protests, ironically, of course, just a constant protest throughout this book. Right. They're protesting nuclear power. And Ronnie and John like walk through the corridors, and he shows Ronnie the door where Martin Stein is talking to his, I think it's like his, I think he's like taking dictation. And he's explaining that like Martin Stein works for the U.S. government. And after the Metamorpho incident with Rex Mason, where like Rex Mason became Metamorpho, they are like, we need to make our own Superman. Basically, when Superman arrived, the U.S. government was like, we have no control over this guy. We didn't make this guy. We have no idea how he works. We need to start working on this now. Martin Stein agrees, and he's a patriot, and he's in. So he develops the Firestorm situation. He also learns that he doesn't have a metagene. So he can't technically become one, but he has done a survey of people who do
genes of all his employees.
Yes, and he finds that there's one boy named Ronnie who needs a parental figure, and I will act as that and groom him into becoming Firestorm. And it's going to take both of us, so I will volunteer. God. Yeah, and Ronnie's like, oh my fucking God, you just retconned the shit out of me.
Holy shit. So the professor this whole time has known, he's been the like government half of Firestorm.
He's like the progenitor of the Superman theory.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
He's like the first
He's
one.
the first. Yeah, well he's
or is he even the only one?
No.
He's not the only one, but he's the one that started to kick it off.
They even retcon that Kirk Langstrom, Man-Bat, is a scientist who was working for the government, and he developed...
Man-Bat?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Sweet. So there's two.
There's like a lot.
We don't talk about Man-Bat.
There's a chart that it shows you all the ones that could be.
Are any of them
relevant or matter?
Are they pre-existing characters besides Man-Bat and Firestorm?
Literally every single one that is implicated is a previously established character.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Johns doesn't invent anyone except for like Marionette and Mime.
Okay.
And I guess Rorschach.
Wow, this is kind of like Civil War.
Yeah.
Marionette and Mime are just Punch and Julie, and Rorschach already existed.
That's true. All right, take that away from him.
Is Firestorm the only one who didn't know? Or half of him didn't know that he was part of this?
Yeah,
or the others
Stein kept him in the dark the whole time.
Yeah, but the other characters
No, it
are
wasn't like Green
complicit.
Lantern was like, you fucking idiot. No. Like,
No. I mean, amongst the government superheroes, are they all like...
They all know.
Consciously part of it?
Yes.
Except for him.
Posar's part of it.
Posar?
Posar was invented to be a villain for Firestorm.
Yeah.
And to test Firestorm's abilities.
Oh my God.
And so they would create like random acts of villainy for Posar to perpetrate so Firestorm would fight him. But sometimes Posar would go rogue and do things, that would explain in the comics why Posar like killed people.
Killed some
and why
people,
the government was like not culpable for it.
Right.
But Posar revealing it, that's because he knows.
Yeah.
I'm a living example.
Literally know. And so I guess he decided like he wasn't going to do it anymore in this book.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So Firestorm begs John, like, why? Why did you show me this? And he goes, I'm proving a point that hope decays.
Oh.
And so then everyone shoots at him.
Right.
And they're attacking him, no effect. And then Captain Atom shows up. Oh, the character from which John was created.
Yeah.
And he just goes, get clear, forget Superman. Captain Atom is the last thing you're ever going to see. And just blasts John.
Huh.
John explodes. The picture, the photograph is destroyed. And Wonder Woman broke free of Themyscira and goes to the UN to try and, like, heal. She's like, okay, everybody got that out of their system. Let's talk.
Good. Now that no one's punching each other.
Yes, everyone's
Right.
off-world. Let's figure this out.
Right.
Oh,
John,
look, a diplomat.
yeah.
Plus, she's like, I'm unaligned.
Yeah.
I pre-exist all of that. I predate all this
That's
stuff.
true, yeah.
This is really interesting that all the superheroes are off planet
Yeah.
except for the Trinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Superman is...
He's out for the count,
out-
but he's still on
yeah.
Earth.
That's true, yeah, just the Trinity. So John reconstitutes like he has before.
Yep.
Oh, a trick we've never seen.
Yeah.
Well,
No, we've
they've never seen it.
Yeah, that's true. They're like, ugh. Batman finds out the message never sent.
Oh. Damn.
And,
So even 14 minutes later, nothing happens.
yep,
'cause
he
of-
waited 14 minutes, like, desperately, and then it's like, message failed. And he's like, fuck!
God damn it.
So while Wonder Woman is trying to appeal to the UN, the roof opens, and Black Adam and his cadre are like, I heard all your friends were on vacation. So I'm making my move.
She's like, you don't have anything to fear from any humans. And then Black Adam's like, no, you do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but it's not what you thought.
What were you saying?
Well, you were like fighting amongst yourselves about people owning superheroes. I was amassing an evil army of them.
to take over the world.
Wonder Woman, I had a whole country.
Yeah.
Yep. So then we take a hard fucking break to
Right.
see a sequence from one of these Nathaniel Dusk movies.
Yep.
It's the end
Black
sequence
Freighter.
It's
Yeah.
the Black Freighter. It's not as intrusive, I find, than as the Black Freighter. But yeah, we see the end, one of the end scenes from The Adjournment, the last movie, Nathaniel Dusk. Carver, of course, is being blackmailed by his asshole mother. There's a letter from her in here about, like, you know, I just saw on the news that, like, you were born on a farm, but I know that you never knew your father, and that, like, you grew up in Philadelphia, and that I kicked you out of the house when you were kissing that boy next door, and boy, wouldn't your Hollywood friends not want to know about that.
His
So you're gonna have
friggin' mom is blackmailing him?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's part of the despair that John
Right.
notices, because John has this kinship with Carver Coleman for no fucking reason. So
I always have to latch onto
I just
something
pick a
in the
thing,
world.
yeah.
And if they have a
sometimes
bad
Lori and
Yeah, well, Lori
this is
made
proving-
sense. This makes a little bit less
This
sense.
is proving that Dr. Manhattan doesn't need to have sex with the person in order to feel something for humanity.
Okay.
Coleman's trying to do the sequence. He's trying to do the scene. We're seeing, like, the scene as it's played in the movie, but then, like, he fucks up his line, and he's like got this. He's blaming a headache, but really he's preoccupied.
Yeah,
And,
with the blackmail.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with the with the blackmail and with something else. But he's like, we gotta get the scene down. We gotta get the scene done now. We have to get it done to. They're like, we can wait, bring it to tomorrow. He's like, no, we can't.
No, it's gotta be today.
No. So you know,
The Muse!
seemingly, but no. But he finishes the scene. He goes to, like, you know, he has his day, and then he goes to a bar at 10 o'clock to meet his blackmailer, his mother.
Right.
She starts in with her bullshit. And he goes, no, I don't want to do this here. Then it's April 18th, 1938, and he is drawn to Superman's worlds for reasons he doesn't understand. And the first person he meets is Carver Coleman.
Ah, okay.
We get Carver Coleman's whole origin, which I've explained earlier. He gets a couple of bit jobs as, like, mail carriers and stuff on different lots.
Yeah.
He catches an executive having an affair with another male executive.
Does he blackmail him into getting an acting job?
No, he gets fired, and he is destitute, and he ends up on the street.
He's fired because he saw that. Yeah.
Well, no, it's funny because, like, he sees this. The executive drops a cigarette, and that cigarette causes the studio to catch fire, and he's fired for that.
What?
So then he's
Is
on
that a thing that happened in history, that, like, a studio burned down?
probably.
You made me distracted and dropped my cigarette. You're fired.
Bizarre. Okay.
So he's on the street. He's harassed by cops. You know, the cop hits him in the head with a billy club. Manhattan arrives. Manhattan arrives in their car and blows the car apart and knocks everybody over. When Manhattan arrives, he sees this man who was beaten by police go to check the pulse of the policeman who beat him. He's like, what is this place?
There, hope dies. Proof right there that hope dies.
No.
Stop,
No.
Stop helping that man.
No, well, there has to be hope in order for it to die.
That's
so
right.
He starts
he
out
sees
hopeful.
this and he's like, what?
Oh.
The heroes regroup and he goes, no, I need you incapacitated for reasons that will become clear. And he stops all of them. By the way, the studio that produces Nathaniel Dusk movies is Werner Brothers. I don't know why they don't just go ahead and say Warner Brothers. I guess because like the DC universe isn't the real world.
Right.
Whatever. It's Warner Brothers.
It is.
Yeah.
Why make the reference though?
Well, so that
Because
you know
they're
it's-
owned by a studio, they might as well make it. Plus,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is an old, time-honored studio that has history that would exist in 1938.
Yeah.
So
but why even mention it at all?
That's the
Just
point.
to make a fun reference.
just to make a fun reference.
Yeah.
It's tongue in cheek.
It's
when
why
it
the
doesn't need to
Nathaniel,
be.
the Nathaniel Dusk lettering on the poster is the exact same as it is in the comic book. Why? Because it's for you. So Carver meets John. Carver asks John if he's an angel. It gives John pause. They go to a diner, a random diner off the side. John bends light to allow the waitress and anyone in the diner to see what they want to see.
Right. So that he doesn't look like a giant blue naked man.
Yes.
Right.
Otherwise, he'd never be served.
Well, they wouldn't be able to have this conversation. It'd be
Yes.
like, oh my God.
They have this conversation, the two of them, across the booth from each other.
Yeah.
Where in April 18th, 1939, John and Carver are sitting at this diner, and John is walking through a fog. He can't see everything.
Okay.
And so he tries exercises and looking into the future and can't, so he focuses on Carver. And he looks at Carver and sees him throughout time. And what he sees, he imparts to Carver, because we see Carver, the homeless guy, sitting across from him. Then we see Carver a year later, and he's like, you were right, I got the part. And it's right alongside Gary Cooper. Can you believe it? We cut to 1952. He's wearing a tuxedo. He won an Oscar. We cut to 54. And Carver Coleman's like, what do you mean I won't be on this world a year from now?
Uh-oh.
Then it's a year from now, he's not there. So,
Ooh.
okay. And John goes, in 8 months, you are going to get casted a role that will change your life. And as they are talking, there is a radio report about a man who lifted a car above his head in Metropolis. John hears about this and immediately abandons Carver
You're lame. I'm out of here.
and leaves behind a photograph.
Oh, the photo of Jenny and himself.
Osterman. Yeah. John stands at the homage from the cover of Action Comics. The people are talking about how he left over a building in a single bound. And then he's standing there, and it's April 18th, 1938, and the car isn't there, and the people are gone, and the world has changed.
What? What? Why are they no longer there?
He talks about how...
Because he dropped the photo?
No. The photo is actually a consequence of John, and he doesn't know he's doing it.
Oh.
That everywhere John goes and uses his powers, he produces a photograph.
Okay.
He's like a
himself.
taco that shits ice cream.
That's right. The heroes in this Earth call in a multiverse, and at this world, at the center, is Superman.
Okay, so he's seen both versions? He's seen where Superman is
Lifting
lifting the car?
He's seen two versions.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple versions. So
Oh,
he sees
okay.
Superman lift the car. The world's introduced to Superman on April 18th, 1938. So I go to July 1940, where a man named Alan Scott's reaching for a Green Lantern. He grabs the lantern, he becomes Green Lantern. This inspires other characters like Jay Garrick, who becomes the Flash, and Carter Hall discovers that he has multiple lives, that he's a Hawkman. We see the Justice Society form,
Yeah.
and it's all spawned from people seeing Superman for the first time on April 18th, 1938.
Okay.
We see a sequence where the Justice Society is forming. They're at their table, they're waiting for Superman to arrive, because when the Justice Society first formed, Superman was on it.
We're getting a good, nice history lesson in these
About the JSA,
forgotten
why do you
characters.
care? Johnny Thunder asks his genie to find Superman, but he's interrupted, and now the whole team is there. It's still November 1940 now, and Green Lantern's never met Superman, and so the whole team is here. And no one's met Superman yet.
Okay.
Because when the JSA, because the next time they reboot continuity,
Right. He
Superman
wasn't on.
wasn't on the JSA.
Right.
But the JSA still formed.
Okay.
Okay.
So now he goes to 1948 and he meets up with Carver. And so they're talking. And in 1948, he goes, "Have you ever heard of Superman, Carver?" And he goes, "No, I've never heard of him." Gone. He goes to Kansas. It's 1956. 25 years earlier, a rocket crashes. But no, that's not right. Now it's 1986. And there's a teenage boy named Clark Kent who goes into the basement. His arrival changes again and again and again. Each time
He's seeing all the different origins.
seeing all the different origins, seeing all the different crises, all the
Yeah,
different
it's
reboots.
like there's all this different shit in this one world, but it's all different.
And John's
versions
just
of it.
standing there watching it all, like, and he's like, "What the fuck is this place?
I can't stand you people and your continuity.
I don't understand this universe." That's what he says.
That's so funny.
That is great.
He watches Clark Kent say goodbye to his parents as they die. They both die in 1956. Then it's October 1986 and his parents are alive again. And then his dad dies of a heart attack and he's sad about that.
Here's one where he jumps into a tornado.
Yeah,
what's
like,
going on
that's
with
a
that?
movie one. They don't reference that. John does not want you to think about that. But he goes, "How does one man affect so much? Now I'm 1,000 years in the future and he's a boy and he's in a Superman costume and he's meeting the Legion of Superheroes. Why is this boy at the center of this universe?"
Right.
And then he explains, like, the Anti-Monitor and even, like, fucking 0 Hours extant are responsible for shifts in Superman's timeline, and that dark directions constantly target hope that he embodies. And so now I'm curious, well, what happens if I move the Lantern 6 inches away from Alan Scott? What happens if there is no just JSA? There's still Superman. Now let's see what happens. And he says, "I remove the linchpin of JSA, I change Superman. I watch as my take on this universe changes reality." And we see the New 52 origin of Superman.
So he's saying that New 52 was caused by John taking the lantern away from Alan Scott
Yes.
because
There's
in
no
the New
JSA.
52 there was no JSA.
So if there's no JSA and there's no old superheroes to like have this golden era,
Yes.
Then you get New 52.
that's when shit gets dark.
That's when shit gets dark. Yes.
Interesting.
And Superman's parents die in a more tragic, more dark way.
Right.
Whether that is lessons from the Legion or his parents, he becomes more distant from humanity, and I understand him better and relate to him more.
Oh, weird.
Little jab at people who are like, "No, I relate to Superman more in the New 52. It's
Oh,
darker.
yeah?
It's more real."
Oh yeah, you know what that's like.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like a cold,
You
unfeeling
sound
robot.
cynical.
Yeah.
It's 5 years ago, and I feel the power of changing Superman, and it's intoxicating. I have discovered that this is not a multiverse; it's a metaverse, and the metaverse inspires the multiverse. And then 1 year ago, in real publishing time, or writing of this, because it's 2 years later, because it's issue 11,
Yeah.
he's like, "The metaverse becomes aware of my hubris, and I learn it's not passive." Wally West blasts out of the Speed Force and looks at Dr. Manhattan and goes, "I know what you did!" So Dr. Manhattan has to get rid of Wally West.
Wait, how does Wally West know what he did?
Because Wally West is a agent casualty of the metaverse. So the metaverse is like, you interrupted me. I'm going to send one of my people who can fuck with whatever it takes to get to you.
Reality and shit.
To
yeah.
stop you.
Oh.
It's like an organism fighting to survive.
Interesting.
An innate hope within the metaverse fights to survive.
Okay.
Is Superman that hope?
Yes. Superman is the linchpin upon which the entire metaverse rests.
So Superman is trying to fight against the New 52 and what he's become.
Well,
Well,
the metaverse is.
The metaverse is,
and
and
the metaverse is like
Superman's like an embodiment of it,
an
kind
agent
of.
of it. Yeah, like the metaverse is inherently hopeful, and its avatar is Superman, or Superman is the metaverse, and it influences what the metaverse like feels, like what its driving force is.
All right.
But then he sees that when he recreates the metaverse for New 52, it turns against him, and the last vision he has is of Superman. And Superman hopeless and attacking him, and either he destroys me or I destroy everything.
Now, he's talking about the New 52 version of
talking about
Superman?
now.
Or now? Okay.
Because he is still the New 52 Superman version. Well, he's a merging of both. but-
Yeah. Does he explain that?
No.
Okay.
No.
He's like, well, that happened.
But it's still the same.
So I created this version of reality. There is another one overlapping with
Well,
it. I didn't do that.
I didn't, well, no. It's
But
more
it did
like,
happen.
Yeah. Well, we never undid it. Like, we never undid New 52. We never
Right.
changed it.
Right.
It's just that, like, when Mixus Bitlick is like, hey, and he merges both of them, like, that's not the same thing. That's not a crisis. That's not a reboot. That's not even like a
New
chronal
52
shift.
still happened.
New 52 did happen because no one will say it didn't, and people keep referencing it.
Right. Everything else also happened, but it also happened.
And while it would
Exactly.
New
contradict
52
it,
happened in amongst.
we say it didn't.
Yes. Well, New
Even
52
though
happened.
Superman's different because now his parents didn't die in
No,
that
they
way
did.
they did. Oh, they did?
Well,
but that was the other
was pre-Crisis
Superman.
Superman and went
Right.
back
Right.
through Convergence, but Johns wants to leave as much Convergence off the table as possible.
Right.
But his parents are still dead.
Okay, so this version of Superman that's in this book, he's essentially New 52 Superman, but with the old costume.
And with
And he's
Lois,
married to Lois.
and has a son.
Yes.
Yes. But, his
But
parents
other
still
than that,
died.
he's New 52 Superman.
Yes, for all intents and
Okay.
purposes, that's who he is.
All right.
So then, June 8th, 1954, Carver Coleman's murdered. His mother and her associate hit him in the back of the head with his award and then ransack his house. The housekeeper finds the letters his mother sent him and burn them to protect his legacy. So his murder is never really solved.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But he talks about how, like, okay, so I stopped the war in Vietnam, but I let a pregnant woman get shot.
Right.
But I use a man to help me understand what this metaverse is, but then I watch his mother beat him to death.
Right.
I let Adrian kill millions of people and let him leave. I am a being of inaction on a collision course with a man of action. And in this universe of hope, I have become the villain.
Interesting.
Like, this is... Because he doesn't really think he's a supervillain, but, like, in this universe, that's what
as far
I
as this
must
universe
be.
is concerned, I kind of am, except he's not.
No, it's
because
more like-
he didn't. They're attacking him right now because they think he did something that he didn't actually do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all fight. It's always been fight.
Yep. The Kondakian forces attack Wonder Woman and the UN. Batman breaks into, like, NORAD and stops nuclear launches from taking place. He's
Oh,
like,
wow.
no! Because the idea here is that now that all the heroes are gone and Kondak exists and the Russians are moving, we need to show, Mr. President, that we still have power.
So who are they attacking with the nukes?
I assume like the UN or Kandak.
Russia, Kondak,
Oh, well, just anyone who's a threat.
Yeah, well, because the Russians are also going to launch theirs too.
Right. So we're gonna go first.
But if we do it first, then it's our decision, and then we're not reactive.
Exactly. No, we're
Yeah,
decisive.
maybe we could take out a few of their silos. So
Probably.
we might come out on top.
Exactly.
Jeez.
I like that the badge has a LexCorp logo on it.
Well, it's Lex's place.
Oh.
Well, Lex needed to give. Lex took Lois to LexCorp
Yeah.
I got it.
because he's like explaining to Lois how he's putting it all together. He's like, I met this guy named Ozymandias. He came from another world. He fucked it up. He thought he was doing the right thing, but he's an idiot.
Right.
He's looking for this guy named Dr. Manhattan. Oh, so as Lex is leading Lois through his company's building, he's going further and further into like more and more science fiction-y, like locked doors,
Yeah.
clandestine secret stuff going on. And he's like, Lois, have you ever heard of a man named Carver Coleman? And she's like, you mean the actor from like the 50s? Yeah. And he goes, when his estate went up for sale, one of the items in the estate was this photograph. And the photograph is of Osterman and Jenny.
Right.
And she's like, who are they? And what's special about it? He goes, I don't know. But here's
That
what
part
I
I haven't
do
figured
know.
out.
When I was tracking the abnormal chronal energy spikes, which were increasing in both power and frequency throughout the last like year or two, it led me to the flashes. But that wasn't what was happening. They were a byproduct. They were involved in it, but they weren't the reason.
Okay.
That wasn't the anomaly I was tracking.
Right.
And then in the grass next to them is another goddamn photograph of these two randos. And she goes, so this picture is related to the rebirth of the Flashes? And he goes, kinda. I kept finding chronal debris everywhere I would find these patches. And one of those pieces of chronal debris was that video I sent you of the JSA, a team that never existed, of heroes that I've never heard of. And then they walk through this gallery, and he's got like hundreds of these photographs all throughout time that he's been collecting from random places. That's like some of the things he's been procuring as he's been acquiring all these companies.
So he's been putting this together for a long time.
Yes, I found them all over mostly America, but I found one in the Congo earlier, which was where John took Marinette, Mime, and Adrian, and they had their conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the photo thing that's his clue, that's a clue that like, this guy was here. Whoever he is, he was here because I found one of these photos here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that like Luther, among the photos, Luther also finds like other bits of chronal debris, as he calls it.
Right.
And these things clue him in that like this is not the first time I've been Lex Luthor. This isn't even like the 10th time I've been Lex Luthor.
Right.
Like that. He reasons that Luther cracks the metaverse theory, and he learns that like he and Superman are like at the linchpin. He connects himself because there's always a Lex Luthor.
Right.
He's like I'm inevitable. I'm enduring. I'm forever.
Right.
And I'm constantly locked in a battle with this fucking guy that I never win.
Right. And in all of them, I lose.
Yep. But I love the image of all these photos. And
yeah, that's cool.
The U.S. government sends special forces into the basement of the fortress of the Hall of Justice. Superman is woken up and he's getting his clothes on and he goes like, "Listen, if the president wants to talk to me, because they're like, the president needs you. Like, you're under arrest. If I order the president." He's like, "If the president wants to talk to me, I'll come talk to the president myself."
Right.
But unlike the other books where I am the lapdog of the president, I am not.
I am not. No. Meanwhile, we find out that Johnny Thunder and Saturn Girl are, of course, prisoners of Ozymandias in his lair.
Right.
Saturn Girl explains that, like, you know, you'll never destroy Superman if that's what you're trying to do. Like, Superman's forever. And he goes, No. I want him to make it. My question is, do you think he remembers you? And she's like, no, he doesn't. And he's like, why do you think that is?
It's confusing, right?
And then she fades away.
Oh, whoa.
Like,
What?
She's Wile E. Coyote.
So
she doesn't
as soon as she realizes
that she's not supposed to be in this time, she disappears.
Oh my God.
Wait, how did she get here in the first place?
That she was always here. Or, like, she was here from, maybe she's a bit of that chronal debris that Lex Luthor's talking about.
Like, it's just left over, like, reality changed, and she didn't realize that it changed.
Right.
And once she does,
so
that's where she goes.
In the
she
New
goes away.
52, there was no Legion of Superheroes?
No.
Ah.
Until Scott Snyder set them up in his Justice League book that was taking place around the same time because editorial got sick of waiting for the Legion of Superheroes to be debuted in Doomsday Clock.
Oh.
So they completely undermine the reveal that the Legion has been unmade by Dr. Manhattan.
Right.
But they pretend like those work in conjunction with each other.
Right.
Alfred decides that maybe at the behest of Batman, they need Rorschach. It's the worst thing about this book. Alfred makes more pancakes. He tries to lure Reggie back to the cave. Reggie, like, rejects him and runs away because he's like, no, Rorschach destroyed my family. I'm not going to dress as Rorschach anymore.
Right.
You know, and Batman's like, no, you got to be Rorschach. And it's like, fuck you, that's so dumb.
You can't create your own superhero.
There's other stuff happening right now, Batman.
Yeah, we don't
that
need
you
that.
need to deal with.
Yeah, but we need Batman. Like, we need Batman to do something in this. So,
And for that, I need Rorschach.
He stopped the nuclear missiles from being launched.
yeah, that's all you need.
It's pretty important.
During Ozymandias' monologuing, he also reveals that he knew, because of his conversations with John throughout, John saw the future of the baby in Marionette when he spared her life. And that was why he didn't kill her. Because actually, the baby would one day grow up to bring joy to someone he cared about.
That John cared about.
Yes.
John doesn't care about anybody.
Well, he seemed to care about someone during Watchmen. And we see them as like two middle-aged people named Mr. and Mrs. Hollis. And they have a daughter as well. Ozymandias just makes his own like discovery about the DC universe, but it's basically just like this colorful, crazy place that is made of both like simultaneous hope and despair. And John came here maybe to try and like be with these people because like he feels more of a kinship to them than humanity. But like
Humanity on my place, it's terrible. Humanity here might be better.
Yeah, well, they got like neat costumes and stuff. At least I won't look weird. But basically, that like,
oh sure, I can't look weird in anywhere. Just can't have my dick flying out.
Yeah, that's right. Put on some fucking pants. End of story.
Everywhere, everywhere's got to put pants on.
Yes. I don't care if you don't care. So Ozymandias reveals his nefarious scheme. What is his nefarious scheme?
Yeah, this makes no sense
The
to me.
same one as Watchmen.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like he wanted to create a conflict on Earth with the metahumans, just like he did with the squid, to unite the world against metahumans.
Yep.
Yeah. But
So
isn't he one of them by being super smart?
Well,
isn't he a
He doesn't
metahuman?
care. He's using them. He's
Yeah.
just going to leave. He wants to go home. He's not going to stay in the DC universe. So
what's the point?
Yeah, so we know
he's
what his
fucking
plan
up
is for
this
this
planet.
world.
He's not going
here,
to fix anything else.
But he has somehow his plan is going to affect his
other
universe as well.
His plan is basically that, like, I'm going to force John to give a shit
Oh, what
by doing it all over again. Like, he caused the energy spike in Moscow.
Right.
So all the heroes would leave. He knew John would beat them. So now all the metahumans are on Mars right now. So the world's powers would descend into chaos and
so
cause...
he's going to force John to come back and save this world.
Yes, and when he does, maybe he'll realize that he wants to save the one he came from.
I see. And maybe he'll want to save this world because he was instrumental in creating it the way
It's
it
really
is.
kind of his fault anyway.
Right.
Black Adam has made his move. He attacks Wonder Woman. He attacks the UN. Now he's going for the White House. So Black Adam and his team, aided by the Russians, goes to the White House lawn.
Oh, wow.
Superman arrives and stands between the White House and Black Adam. And he's like, I'm still catching up to speed, but I know this ain't good, so
All right.
put up your dukes.
Is this all part of Ozymandias' plan? This showdown on the White House lawn? He thinks John's going to show up and
Yes.
do something here?
Yes,
Okay.
but what he doesn't know is that John sees the end of everything when he comes into contact with Superman.
Right.
So-
Everything.
So Superman...
But it might just be the end of John.
Yeah, but that also
But-
fucks up his plan because he needs John to go back to the Watchmen universe.
he
and
doesn't
save
know
it.
that John sees his own end or
Right.
the end of everything. So he's just like, yeah, no, John will fix it.
He'll come in and he'll stop what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then John counts down from 6 seconds, which is when he's going to finally meet Superman. Superman is, of course, attacked. He's alone, fighting everybody. Marionette Mime, steal a car, torture a comedian, and just, go on a tear. They just have a great time.
Okay. Weird.
Reggie...
Why are they a linchpin in this?
Well, they explained it earlier, but...
yeah, they were important earlier and they were created, so we got to show what's
Yeah,
happening.
look
with
at them go. Look at them having a grand old time.
They're not doing any...
They're not doing anything of consequence that
No.
affects the plot at all. No. So, and of course, Reggie. What about him?
Yeah, what about Reggie?
Alfred begged him to become Rorschach, and
Pancakes! Pancakes, Reggie!
he knocked him on the ground. He couldn't eat them.
You love the
So
taste of pancakes.
So he leaves.
Can you remember the taste of pancakes, Reggie?
Can you remember the taste of more syrup, Mr. Reggie?
It was 100% pure. Great amber.
From Vermont.
And he introduced himself to Superman, and Superman's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm the one you're going to destroy, or I'm going to destroy everything." And Superman is like, "I don't have time for this."
Yeah.
And then all the metahumans, they all show up.
Yep.
There's a made-up country among made-up countries called Markovia. This birthed Geoforce and other super or metahumans.
Oh.
They are kind of like the contextual basis for the Superman theory at all, because the Markovians created Geoforce. So it's
Right.
there is a precedent in DC continuity
For
for
people doing
creating
that.
metahumans.
Yeah, okay.
But Geoforce...
They were like the originals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When John says that, he's not being
He's not being threatening,
he's not being threatening.
but it sounds threatening.
But it's not Jeff John's way of saying Superman has to kill sometimes.
No. Johns would never say that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's what John thinks is
Yeah.
going to happen because he's trying to figure out. He can't see what happens, which is important for the book.
Yes.
The book needs him not to know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and
because then-
implies either he dies or he destroys everything. That's the only two
Those are
possibilities.
those are the only two
And
possibilities.
he's a logical person, so he would
These-
state those as the two possibilities.
These are the only reasons why I can't see the future.
Right.
Even
Yep.
though I had a point in the past where I couldn't see
Well-
the future when I was talking.
And let's not even talk about the fact that he can see the future of Marionette's child and how it'll give joy to that kindly couple in the Watchmen universe, and how that has to be after this.
That has to be after this.
But let's not worry about that. So, Polar
Well,
is like,
well,
Yeah, no, don't worry about
no,
that.
unless it's
well,
already happened in his
and here's the explanation.
time.
It's 1992 in the Watchmen universe. It's 2017, 1819 in Doomsday Clock.
Right.
When Ozymandias lands, he says, it's like the future here, but also kind of the past. Like, time is different, too.
Right. So
That time travels slowly in the Watchmen universe versus now.
I can
hand
see
wavy
that
bullshit.
because that's in the past, even though it's in my future.
Yes. Yeah.
It is technically the past because right now it's 2017
Right.
and that's 1992.
And the only reason why you could see it anyway is because it is your future. It's not like you see everyone's future.
Right.
You see it only because you're there.
Eh.
So Posner's like, I want to arrest Superman, and Black Adam's like, no. Kahndaq is a nation of metahumans. We will do it. And so then everyone is just like, it's just a disaster. And
Right.
Superman's like, there are innocent people here.
Right, you can't fight here.
Yeah. So they all
And
fight him.
all the Kahndaqs are just like, we don't care.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And like other countries are loading up their super characters to deal with the fight. Like the world's descending into chaos, and it's about to be a big problem. A racist store owner sees Reggie looking in his window and attacks him because he assumes he's going to loot.
Oh.
And then Alfred steps in and saves Reggie and offers him the Rorschach mask. And then Batman shows up and he's like, "You gotta be Rorschach." He basically says, like, I read the journal. I know who Osterman is. I know it all. I figured it out. And he goes, well, if you know who Rorschach is, then you know that I can't do that because Rorschach destroyed my family. And he goes, Batman teaches him a lesson that says, make people see what you want to see.
Okay.
And that thing you need to make them see is Rorschach.
Yeah. So make Rorschach mean something else.
Yeah, take Rorschach and own it.
That's right. Listen,
Yeah? Batman,
my ward, Jason Todd, he has something to say.
take guns and own it, Batman.
No.
Never, because I'm also, don't forget, a hypocrite.
Just do that. Just keep doing that and just say it doesn't matter.
What does Batman give a fuck about anyone
About this
being
fucking
Rorschach?
guy? I
He
don't
shouldn't.
know.
So Superman's being attacked, and
Yeah.
it's
It's a
going,
huge fucking fight.
and it's going real bad, but it's also awesome looking.
Look at all the people that are here. A dinosaur?
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to point that
He's
out.
a Doom Patrol character. You would hate it. Animal, vegetable, or mineral man.
What?
What?
That's what that is.
Okay, well that's very
Fair
Doom
point.
Patrol-y.
I hate it.
All right.
You were saying?
Who are these people fighting? I thought they were
Superman.
fighting They're
And
all
each
fighting
other.
Superman?
Because
Oh,
they all-
and
they all
because they're all
want-
trying to be the one to arrest Superman?
Yes.
That's so stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the trouble. The villains have infighting.
Yeah, they all got. If there's two groups of villains,
Well,
they're
they're
gonna
not
fight
villains.
each other.
Like,
Well,
they're just.
Black Adam's villain.
Oh yeah. Well,
they're
except-
led by a villain.
Unless he's being played by The Rock. Dr. Manhattan's watching all this,
Yeah, he's just watching the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and he sees a car head towards a mother and their child, and Superman catches the car.
Yeah.
In a beautiful homage, by the way, to the first time in 1938. Superman stops it and he goes, "Whoever you are, help these people!" And he goes, "I don't help you." But like,
I already know.
yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
And
So I'm not going to.
I
yeah,
imagine that really, really upset Superman.
that's right.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Yeah. So Lex finishes his monologue with Lois. Lois is like, "What do you want me to do?" He goes, "Write it up. You gotta tell the story. We're being our history has been altered by forces beyond our control." And she goes, "Why? Why would you do that?" And he goes, "To tell people that I figured it out." And
To
then-
prove that I am the smartest man ever.
That's right.
Right.
And then he goes and grabs his vibrational emitter, which is an ancient Lex Luthor weapon, and then goes on his own little merry adventure.
Okay.
Manhattan gives his speech to Superman. You know, he's like, "Why? Why are you? Why won't you help?
Right.
Why? How can you stand there and do nothing?" And he just says, like, "I could have saved my world. It's burning right now as we speak."
Yeah.
Like and then he flatly explains, like, "I am the reason why everything's different. I'm the reason your parents are dead. I changed your life out of cold curiosity. Now what are you gonna do about it?" And it's like, yeah, that is logic, but it's also like you want to get him. I want to get to the point.
Yeah, you're making this happen.
Because Superman's eyes glow red, and he goes towards Manhattan, and Manhattan just closes his eyes and waits for it.
Ah, sweet death.
Here we go. Superman,
Prove me right.
Superman swings, and he punches Posar behind Manhattan.
Huh.
That what Manhattan saw was a trick. And Manhattan's like, "Why did you defend me?
What I do, man.
Right now, you have a choice to make. The right choice. Let's go, man." And he goes, "You know, you talk about how you only saw two options. You saw either you are destroyed by me or you destroy everything. But what if there's a third choice?" And Manhattan's like, "What are you talking about?"
I didn't see that.
And Superman goes, "Who is she?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "The photos you keep making."
Oh God, I'm making photos. I'm so sorry. It's a habit.
I assume they're important. And he looks at it and he goes, she was important. And he goes, maybe the darkness that you see, that's at the end of everything, maybe it takes everything that you are to save the world.
Okay, but why doesn't he see this conversation?
Right.
He sees Superman's fist coming at him
Well,
and then nothing. But
here
they're
you go.
having a whole
Ready?
conversation.
You see what you want to see.
They do say that many times in this book.
Oh, you fucker.
Ah, gotcha! So Superman is enveloped by all the villains. Everybody's attacking, and John goes, I understand. Everything ends. And then he throws up his hands. The world is enveloped by blue and darkness.
Oh, wow.
And everything descends, and Superman's logo
Starts to-
discorporates, and then there is nothing.
Jeez.
Superman's dad is talking to him in the car going to the prom, where he says,
Yeah.
they've never seen anything like you, Clark. If they did, they'd be afraid. John moves the lantern back. Alan Scott picks up the lantern, and we change the conversation, and John goes, you know, when I was a kid, my dad told me stories about the Justice Society of America, wartime heroes. And so they've never seen anyone like you before, but I think the world's ready to see what you can do. So then Superman, filled with hope, leaves, goes to the dance to steal Lana away from Pete Ross.
Yeah.
And the Kents are almost in a car accident, and the car speeds towards a tree, but Superboy stops it. They say, who is that? And John says, that's our son. Now the JSA exists, so Superboy exists, because Clark Kent becomes Superman earlier in his adolescence.
Right.
And because Superboy exists, the Legion of Superheroes sees him and enlists him, so the Legion exists.
And now Saturn Girl can come back.
So Saturn Girl comes back. Saturn Girl's ring has been reformed, and that the old man, Johnny Thunder, he actually says the magic words that summon his genie, and then he goes away.
Okay.
And he goes,
Is it Shazam?
It's not, it's See Who.
Wait,
But,
why... if everything's different, why is he even in this cell with Ozymandias?
Well, it's the ripple effect. Because, like, here's the thing.
Oh, so the
we
world
get-
wasn't destroyed.
It wasn't destroyed. Because, like, we get this implication that, like, we got a big reboot. We got another crisis, right?
Yeah.
But basically, John just undoes what he did, which causes everything to go back to the way they were before New 52, but all the stories you read still happened, but not in the New 52 anymore. And so everything still leads up to this moment because Doomsday Clock is still a book you're reading. So the Superman theory, that still happened.
So
all
yes.
this stuff still happened.
Okay.
So everything that happened just happened without the New 52
part
effect.
of it. Right. So now Superman doesn't remember his parents dying in a car accident.
Nope.
He remembers, but he still found himself in this spot.
Still in that exact spot. But he
Now-
wasn't fighting Dr. Manhattan anymore.
Right.
Does this mean that Dr. Manhattan didn't steal time from people?
Yes. It means that all of it went back.
Yeah. So he undoes New 52, which was part of these characters' history in this book you're reading.
Yes.
But despite having undone massive parts of their histories, they still find themselves in exactly the same situation.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
All of the other superheroes are on Mars.
Yep.
And these superheroes have their own country and they're
Yep.
attacking the
Yep,
US.
that all happened.
Doomsday Clock still happened, just in the not New 52, the Rebirth universe. This is the Rebirth that DC Universe Rebirth was harbinging 3 years ago.
So he just said, like,
Okay.
take everything about New 52 and get rid of it.
But Superman is still inundated by Black Adam and everybody,
Right.
and
Does he remember
Dr. Manhattan? Yes. Because of exploitation further after this.
Okay.
But, Superman is saved by a telepathic push, and Saturn Girl goes, you remember us now, Cal? And he goes, Imra. That's her first name.
Ah.
And,
Oh, so she remembers being unmade.
yes. Well, she's from the future, and she's telepathic and stuff, but, but Jay Garrick goes, sorry, we're late, son. And Superman goes, well, better late than never, as Superman, the Legion of Superheroes, and the JSA all form to fight back this oncoming horde.
Oh, interesting. So the characters who were on Mars, they're still on Mars.
They're still on Mars.
But there were a bunch who weren't because they didn't exist
Right
when the
before
other
then.
ones went to Mars. Now, of course, they would have gone to Mars with all the rest.
And they would have existed, so they wouldn't be here now.
So why do they think they didn't go to Mars?
Oh,
with
because
the
they
other
only
heroes?
started existing right now, and they got their histories filled in.
So if no one remembers Dr. Manhattan, how come all the superheroes on Mars are still there?
Oh, yeah. Well, because they must remember Dr. Manhattan.
They went there for some other reason.
Because there's no reason for them not to remember Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah. And they defeat Black Adam.
Oh
Obviously.
yeah, no, they win.
that
Well,
happens
he
like a
says,
second.
"I see the Man of Tomorrow, and for the first time, I'm inspired."
Ah.
Yay! They win the day. We saw it. Remember where he talked about like there's like shit that happened up to Crisis, and people remember that post-Crisis.
Yes.
Yes.
That stuff pre-Crisis is from a new Earth that has always existed called Earth 1985, where that version of Superman and Earth existed. The Earth that was like the timeline that existed where stories are written that,
Pre-Crisis.
that ended in 1985. And more Earths are created, of course, as the multiverse expands. After the Flashpoint, Earth 52, because of Dr. Manhattan's interference, exists. Earth 52 is an Earth with its own timeline that exists. So now the New 52 is not what happened, it's a reality in the multiverse.
Yeah.
So then we get this big splash where Dr. Manhattan kind of like narrates what's going to happen in the DC universe if Jeff Johns were in charge, which of course he isn't and which of course will not. Those things are as follows. He alludes to death metal, reckless energies of the old gods attack, warps the metaverse.
Which does happen.
Which does happen, and is still happening at the timing of this recording. Another crisis happens with the Time Masters. Superman's revitalized.
Is that Tempest Fugonaut? Or is that still...
It could be. He's talking about something that happens in 2025.
So he's telling the story. Yeah, okay.
He talks about
that
how
he wants to tell.
Yeah, in 2026 they restore the timeline.
What?
They create 5G. He has to retcon 5G because they talk about 5G.
Oh,
now 5G
man.
was being worked on while they were still working on issues 11 and 12. So he like maybe editorial made him do it. Maybe he felt like extending an olive branch. But 5G is a thing, and that's another world.
Holy shit.
In 2026, Superman goes on a quest to find Bruce Wayne's long-lost daughter and save his son.
So all the things that they're writing down is like notes for what's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh.
He's putting into this book as future realities that
Yep.
Dr.
DC
Manhattan
editorial
has already seen.
is saying it, so I'm saying like I'm putting it in my book. Now
Yeah.
my book is canon.
And what's great is
And you know what? Even if it never happens, oh well, it's just another world
Yeah,
in the
that
multiverse.
happened over there.
Yeah. Even if you in America right now reading this book never get to see this shit.
nope.
it happens.
Don't worry,
somewhere.
it's just another multiverse.
Like in 2030, when the secret crisis occurs and Superman fights Thor and the Hulk,
what?
and you're like, oh shit!
Oh
But, like,
my God.
And this was written in 2017, like 2018, 2019.
13 years.
Yeah. So maybe in 13 years, DC and Marvel will get their heads out of their asses and put together a crisis.
Maybe.
maybe.
Maybe not.
Probably not.
Wouldn't it be cool if you did though? Then it would make it work with that book I wrote. Wouldn't that be fun? Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
I just set it up, and now all your fanboys will remember that. And listen,
Yeah.
like a lot of YouTubers got a lot of money for making one video about this one caption box. So congratulations.
Hey, I set up a timeline for you. Think of each year
Yeah.
as a minute.
Well, and he explains, like, listen,
Except it's
like,
going to be 13 minutes instead
Well,
of 12.
it's true.
But, fuck you.
yeah, but like 2038, Superman appears in public. 22 years earlier, the Kents find him. Then in 2038, we find out that the Kents had a kid and then find Clark. Then in 2045, it's another. He's like, Superman's going to have his origins rebooted. The idea here is that Rebirth, the conceit of Rebirth is that like everything ends. Yes. You know what? Like, well, I'm reading these Superman stories. That's not my Superman. Nope, it's not. Your Superman's over there on that Earth.
Yep.
And you can imagine what great stories.
Yeah.
And maybe someone.
And the reality is they stopped writing about it.
Yep.
But it still happened and it
Yeah.
has its own future.
You can go back and you can read it and have fun.
And maybe some old fogey will show up and tell a story in that world or something. Maybe.
Right.
But probably not, more likely not.
But for
Most
right now,
of them, no.
shut up and read the story.
Yeah.
I'm doing
Yeah,
it.
but if
Maybe
you don't
someone
like
will
it-
tell some of those fun New 52 stories you like so
Yeah,
much.
if you like them so much, it's all over there.
Maybe. Maybe not, but maybe.
Yep.
So is this what they were talking about when they were like, with Rebirth and what comes after, we're just gonna let people do whatever. This is that's what this is. This is
Yeah.
like, someone could go back and write a story for any of those universes or a new universe,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep. All that matters is the DC universe is entirely hinged on Superman. That when you change Superman's origin, you change everything.
Right. You create a new universe.
You create a new universe. And if you don't sow hope into your origin for Superman, you fuck it up.
It gets all messed up.
Everything we needed to clear Superman's name was left on your ship. He's like, yeah, I left it there for you to find. Give it to his wife. She'll write an article about it. Bye. And then he gets teleported as do Marionette and Mime, and they all arrive at the Washington Monument. And Dr. Manhattan's like, I know what you did, Adrian. You did it again. And he goes, yep, you're welcome.
Yep, did it. Worked.
Everyone lives. And then Ozymandias gets shot by the comedian. And he goes, maybe not you. You goddamn asshole.
That's amazing.
And then Lex Luthor shows up and he blasts the comedian.
Right.
And he says, no, you're an asshole. And the comedian's like, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm negating the vibrational frequency that brought you here and I'm sending you back to wherever you came from. And the comedian's like, wait, no!
Get back from whence you came!
So he teleports about 3 feet away from Oblivion.
Yeah.
And he smashes his face
Wham!
into the pavement. Yeah.
Except he doesn't have any momentum because he spawns like 3 feet above the ground.
Yeah.
So
But he definitely dies, though. So,
okay.
Vice...
Maybe it's not 3 feet. Maybe it's like
maybe it's like it's
like
100
halfway
feet.
down.
Yeah, it's
like
halfway
he
down.
disappeared
I mean,
halfway
it's
down.
pretty
he
high
reappears
up, but
halfway
it's
down.
really just
Yeah.
no. Yeah, he's
Regardless of the momentum, the point is that he puts him back where he was, and where he was had momentum.
Was hurtling toward the ground.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
because-
That's a good point.
because
Just
he wasn't
because I stole you and put you in front of the ocean.
I put you back where you came from.
You
Yeah.
fell from that point in the air in the ocean.
Maintain your velocity that you had when
you left.
When you left, yeah.
So Ozymandias is like, hooray, I get to die a martyr. And Rorschach's like, no, you don't. And he rips off his mask and he stops the bleeding. And he's like, you're going to go home and you're going to rot in prison for your crimes.
Oh.
And he says, you're not Rorschach. And he goes, no, Rorschach is me. And no one will write stories about me. Because Tom King has a Rorschach book right now and it ain't about Reggie. So,
I assume it's a prequel? Or...
nope.
Okay.
Rorschach is also a sequel to Watchmen because fuck it. So Dr. Manhattan's like, hey, Marionette and Mime, the audience really likes you. You're going to stay in the DC universe. And they're like, no, we want our son. And he goes, no, you can't have him.
No one's going to continue to write books about us, but people are going to want to hear about you.
People will want to use you. So,
Is he not taking that back? Because he's like, nah, if you go back, you'll find your son and you'll like fuck him up. And I don't want you
Yes.
to.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he doesn't say that, but
Right.
like, yeah.
You're not allowed to.
Yeah. So he goes, you have a daughter. She's on the way. And my plan is that one day you will see each other again. But you need an anchor here. And so then he goes back. Before he leaves officially, he goes back to Carver Coleman at the moment where he says, 1 year from now, you will not exist on this earth. And he says, hey, I'm sorry I didn't explain myself. Listen, I'm not going to be around 1 year from now. I haven't been a very good friend of yours. And Carver's like, what? And he goes, listen, don't be afraid of what you feel. And then he leaves. And so Carver finishes the movie, The Adjournment, and in the DC universe, he basically is blacklisted from Hollywood for being gay. And then he is... some other studio takes a chance on him later on in like the 60s. He gets a great role. That's not Nathaniel Dusk.
Right.
And his career does very well. He wins an Academy Award for that. And then he becomes a champion for gay rights.
Right.
Okay.
And so he lives.
Okay.
Until he doesn't and dies.
Well, yeah, he dies in 2005.
And he
But everyone
coins the
But everyone
slogan,
does.
don't be afraid of what you feel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
becomes a
a mantra for like
for activists,
For activists.
in the DC universe.
in the DC universe, of course. Yes.
It's a much better mantra than you see what you want to see.
Right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, basically the story is wrapped up by like Superman and Lois, Clark and Lois are walking back to the planet, the Daily Planet,
Yeah.
and they bump into Ma and Pa, who were going to be picked up at the station, but they decided to walk and meet them. Ma and Pa don't die.
Ah. Yes.
Yeah, so they don't
Right.
die in the car
This is
crash.
where we see that
and
they
he
are
doesn't
still
have a heart
alive.
attack either.
Nope.
So they're alive.
Ma and Pa Kent are around.
Oh, and he doesn't have a heart attack because I don't know, someone
I fix his heart on
is
the way out. I know how it dies. Like, no.
now and what is the reason why Superman this time sees that his heart is effed up but didn't before? What
I don't know.
what happened in Superman's past in this reality?
Who
where he-
cares?
They just went to a doctor
Or-
and he got nitroglycerin
maybe there's
pills.
some
Yeah, how come-
doctor
yeah.
who had died because of something.
Because
from New
this
52.
reality is identical to the previous one, but also John didn't die.
Yeah,
Whatever.
they developed a treatment.
Who cares? No one's complaining.
Come up with a character who
I'm
was
complaining.
inspired by the
Ah!
Justice Society to become a doctor and saved
Exactly.
Bucket. Yeah.
So, so John is like, I affected Superman's world, and now he will affect mine. He goes back to the Watchmen universe,
Right.
Does he become Superman?
No.
Does he like?
Yeah, he
because that
changes
would
his-
be great.
yeah,
he
he-
changes how he looks,
Yeah.
and he just starts acting like Superman, and he fixes the freaking Watchmen universe.
No, he talks about the baby that like Marionette lost. He's like, I didn't see what happened to the baby because of Veidt's tachyon bullshit that was happening at the same time.
Okay.
But now I put it back together, and I realize the blind spot is me. It's not what Ozymandias was doing. It was because I went back. I took the baby, and I raised it.
I took the baby.
Took the baby.
What?
So-
Okay.
John takes Marionette and Mime's son, and he's like, I could never be the hero that the world needs because my dad was a dickhead. And I don't have what Superman had. So we see, like, John wearing a suit and, like, walking on the surface of Mars, showing Marionette and Mime's son, like, you know, what stars are and stuff. Like, the kid sees a star. He says, look, a falling star. Should we make a wish? And he just smiles. I believe in wishes again. He imagines a future in which he doesn't go in the chamber.
Oh.
And
Does he decide to make that reality?
No. Well, like, or it always existed because he remembers it. But, like, he has a daughter, and then he has a son. And, you know, like, he's like, it's a nice daydream.
Oh, I'm still pooping photographs. Oh, no.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I'm like a copy machine. No, he. So as he gives the last of his power to his son, he realizes that he has given this world a protector. That the reason why the Watchmen universe was so fucked up and miserable is because Superman didn't exist.
Oh, of course.
Right.
So John dies. He imbues all the power that makes him Dr. Manhattan into Marionette and Mime's son, whom he kind of raised to a certain age.
Are you telling me
What?
John becomes John Kent?
Yeah. Well, I mean, in a way, a more stoic, cold, emotionless way. But then he drops this child off at this house, which has like an owl clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. They name themselves the Hollises after Hollis Mason.
Okay.
The original Night Owl.
So this is
Laurie
and
Dan.
and Dan.
And they have a daughter.
It kind of okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look like them.
No.
I don't know why.
Okay.
So they get a knock on the door. Their daughter answers it. Sally is named after her mom.
Okay.
When she opens the door, the little boy says, "John calls me Clark." And he's got a little Dr. Manhattan logo on his forehead there.
What the fuck?
So Night Owl and Silk Spectre 2
Yes.
both
Both.
are going to raise Clark Hollis,
Yes.
who has powers in the Watchmen universe.
Yes.
And he may someday
he will
be
become
a
the Superman
Superman-like
for Watchmen.
character.
Yeah. Which would make Alan Moore tear himself in half like Rumple fucking did.
Why does the world not destroy itself? How does he fix that?
That's right. John evaporates all the nuclear weapons in the world.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, he was like,
Great.
he's like, I am a being of inaction. He learns from Superman, like, no, fuck that. So he goes back to the Watchmen universe, and he goes, nope.
Does he also like remove the knowledge,
knowledge
of
of
how to
making them?
make them?
No, when all the nukes are gone, that's what unites the world. And the world gets a little better as a result. That, like, people won't make nukes anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure one asshole is going to be like, everyone had nukes and then didn't. I'm going to
Yeah,
make
well,
one.
you need a refinement plant, man. You better get started. It's going to take you about 50 years. And by that point, Clark will be there.
Woof. So what happens to Veidt?
He goes to jail.
He goes to jail. Okay. So I guess Dr. Manhattan like brings him back with him and puts him somewhere where the authorities find him.
You know, if Batman's methods are any indication, he just goes to the nearest prison and just dumps him in an empty cell.
Well, it says Veidt's headquarters have become his prison, so
Yes.
they turn.
They turn his whole headquarters into like a supermax
Yeah. Okay.
for one guy.
Right.
And there's like a super smart girl who like visits a lot who gets Bubastis or Tubastis.
Oh. Okay.
A super smart girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Is she anything?
Is she connected to something?
Setting it up. Hey, you wanna do more sequels to Watchmen? Here they
No,
are.
no more sequels to Watchmen, please.
Well, we already got one. It's called Rorschach by Tom King and Joel Jones.
Fuck.
Okay.
This was This was too much.
You think?
Yes. This is a lot.
Yeah, it was very dense.
there's
It's the
a-
longest episode we've ever recorded.
Yeah.
And and what's the worst of it is that,
It changes nothing.
no, it changes everything. It
Yeah.
fixes it. It realigns
Well,
DC to be okay. Because the thing is, it's like the New 52 and its hopelessness or its darkness. It didn't happen necessarily just because editorial was like, what's cool? Murder and death. It's also because the audience that reads DC Comics likes that shit. You can't just make a book that is an editorial mandate in its no. The DNA of reality itself that you're playing in is intrinsically hopeful, and when you stray from that path, you make gross bullshit that won't. The universe will fix itself to undo that. No. What'll happen is sales will dip. That's what'll happen, and then you'll have to go back, and you'll have to make something like, I don't know, a sequel to Dark Knight's Metal. If you want to do that, you need to be in charge. You can't step down.
Well,
This
I will
just
say
says
this. He gets to say, it all happened.
Yup.
So it makes sense now. If
Yes.
you were wondering, what the fuck was Rebirth?
Right. It's this.
Mechanically, though, what happened? Well,
Yeah.
this is mechanically what happened.
That's right. Rebirth.
I
there
took
was
all the
no
things
Rebirth.
and I put them all. I put them all in their own little box, and they all happened. And you
Yeah.
can have them, and anybody can write about them. And if one of them is dark and hopeless and weird, that's not what I'm saying. Is supposed to happen,
No.
but I guess it can.
but it's
Sure.
allowed to.
Exactly.
and
It
it's not.
has
It's
place.
not good. This
Right.
is better. This is
According to me.
According to me.
This
Yeah.
is essentially saying everything happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Literally.
Yep.
Everything happened. And could be given a tail.
Yeah.
By the way, that blood that was covering everything, it was actually Superman's cape.
Oh.
See, your own cynicism made you think it was blood, but it's really hope.
Yeah. Well,
No,
Why
that's how
did
his
you
cape
assume
looks
it was
like. That
blood?
sucks.
And it does.
Tiny little logo, giant freaking cape.
Oh, no, it's no.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
exactly.
literally not his cape. His cape would not look like that.
Okay, the idea of using Watchmen characters to affect metatextually the continuity within DC is at least an idea, right? That's something that isn't nearly as exploitative as seeing Batman and Rorschach fight, right?
Right.
For as used as these characters are, for as much as we see Comedian being used as a hired gun, he's not used nearly to the effect you might have expected, right? There's not a lot of Comedian.
Right.
Comedian gets to be cool and do stuff, even if the role he was created for isn't to be cool at all.
No.
But when you make Watchmen have had an effect on DC, and DC characters are that was a neat costume, I'm going to do that. That it inspires someone to become the Comedian, or it inspires a new Rorschach within the DC universe, or Wally West gets Dr. Manhattan powers. I think that's more dumb than just doing a story that is more or less self-contained, because at the end of the day, the timeline that Johns rolls out is immediately contradicted. So it's already it's already not a story that is in continuity, because
That's fucked up.
The only thing they do keep is that Superman's parents didn't actually die.
Yeah.
They at least Bendis didn't go no, I don't like that.
Are they keeping that the Justice Society was a thing?
Yes, but in a tie-in from Justice League that was leading up to Death Metal, Green Lantern and Flash meet the JSA in the past, undermining their non-continuity existence and then sudden rebirth.
Well, no,
was
it
the
happened
past
after
before
this.
Crisis.
Right. Or not.
This occurred and reinstituted it, so then they did that.
Except that when they go back and meet them, they don't recognize them or know them.
Oh, so it was before this.
It was during this.
It was in the middle of this.
It was after issue 9 or 10.
They go back and they don't know them?
Yeah, they're who are you? Who are these people?
Why do they not know them in that story?
There is no explanation. Because they hadn't existed.
So there's an
They're ignoring Doomsday
But they
Clock.
feel like it's the past,
Yeah, they go to the past, but they're like,
but
wait,
they don't know who they are?
no.
So it's not their past.
No, it's
like
it's the past that was like implied because of the beginning of the Rebirth Initiative, but not the actual execution of Rebirth, which is the real
that
literal
it
Rebirth.
actually literally happened.
Yes.
So it's like when that was written, they didn't actually know what this was going to do.
No, they didn't. So they just like
They thought it was going to I guess it was another universe or something,
Yeah.
or everyone had their memories wiped.
yeah, well, because they're operating under that assumption anyway, because people didn't remember certain things or people.
Right. They're
It's
just
just that
doing
they
the
didn't
thing
know that
that
that's
was
what John was
happening at that-
John was doing. Yeah.
So this is saying that all the Earths are there.
Yep.
Earth 1 becomes Earth 1985, even though no one's going to call it that.
That's right.
What Earth is the Watchmen Earth? It's not.
Right.
It's not
It's
Watchmen
not,
Earth.
It's not part of this.
It
it's not
didn't
part
get
of the
its own
metaverse.
name. Yeah, it's a
Watchmen's
separate
not
thing.
in the metaverse. It's another place over there. Like Marvel. Marvel's not
Yep.
in the metaverse.
Yeah, it's like Marvel. Yeah.
Even though, if you ask Grant Morrison, it's, oh no,
Yeah,
it's in the multiverse.
It's one of them.
it has to be.
I mean,
I didn't say which one it was though.
Morrison would want you to believe that it was on the other side of the source wall, but we all know that
That's not what's on the other side
an
of the source
overly
wall.
complicated villainous named Perpetua is on the other side of the source wall.
But it's all on the other side of the source wall. There's 10
just
source
further
walls,
back.
and they're all different.
Well, if you go to the Dark Multiverse, there's multiple source walls and multiple crises that
Right.
can take place, which doesn't make
And-
any fucking sense.
And there could be all these Earths that were created here. They all have their own source wall too.
yeah.
So
Here's
my
maybe behind
confusing
one
thing.
of them is
It's
Perpetua,
Marvel.
and one of them's Marvel, and one of them's the Watchmen universe.
Yeah, sure.
Or
Dr.
something.
Manhattan and Ozymandias and all these other people can come over here, and Dr. Manhattan can affect
Yes.
the DC everything.
Yes, everything. Mm-hmm.
Can they now go to the Watchmen world?
Right.
'Cause
No.
they don't have Dr. Manhattan powers.
That's right.
But
And-
someone could build a fucking
Wally
machine.
does
But
now.
Wally does.
That's right, Wally does.
And Batman in the Dark Multiverse, after this, remembers this, gleans how Osterman became Dr. Manhattan and creates the machine that makes him and uses it on himself to make Dr. Manhattan
So then he could go.
or Dr. Manhattan.
See? Like, what the crap?
Yeah.
Where?
Well, no, but
what are connections?
See, the reason why that happened is because restraint doesn't exist.
No.
Like, you're supposed to not do that, though.
Yeah, but I set up a whole world where, like, you could take any of these Earths and do anything
Yeah.
that you want. Well, now I'm going to do this other thing
Well,
that subverts that.
Now I'm
Yeah.
going to connect it directly
Oh.
to the Watchmen universe that you explicitly set up as separate.
Yes, that's right.
Damn it.
Oops. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's
you
the
opened the
consequence.
door,
That's the
man.
consequence of doing that. Yes, I know.
Now, arguably, the door was opened by before Watchmen
Well,
to
only
start fucking
publishing
with.
wise, like
No.
because it wasn't in the DC universe. They didn't bridge them. They just said,
I know,
Here
but
are
they
some
started
more.
writing books about it,
Yes.
and so it's like, oh, let's write all kinds of books. Hey, let's write books where they cross over. Like it's, it's a slippery
But
slope.
they never did. Yeah, but yes. But the guy who was in charge took it upon himself to write the only story in which that happens. He could also have declared no one may use those characters.
I know.
But
He
but
could
he'll
have,
get
but he
replaced.
yes, but he'll be
and someone else will just do it.
Well,
he was,
for-
and it
for-
did. So yes, it was.
For 35 years, well, for 30 years,
Yes.
they didn't touch it.
Yes.
And then once they touched it, they couldn't stop touching it.
That's
oh, how good it feels! Oh, I love it!
Well,
Ah!
listen, we have an admission of that because Dr. Manhattan talks about how he affects Superman's timeline and it's intoxicating. Maybe it's equally
know what it is?
intoxicating to affect the Watchmen universe.
It's Superman.
is.
Superman is intoxicating.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. But like,
Oh, just imagine what I could do. Oh, what if I brought the comedian
Oh, Christ.
in?
Yeah.
Wait, well, the
I
comedian
immediately
fucking
opened
died.
that
Would you-
scene where they're just going haywire on the bar.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
yeah, ugh.
So this is very interesting because, like, there's some fun stuff that happens
That's
in
the
this
thing
book.
is that
There's some
it's not
really
like if
cool
it were
shit.
dumb as fuck, it'd be
Right.
like easy to dismiss.
Right.
Here are some things that I will say that are good about Doomsday Clock. The art is phenomenal.
Yes.
Yes.
No argument.
And no, I've heard other people say like it's good. No, it's great.
Yeah, it's really good. I like looking at every page.
Check one.
I have not seen like one picture of someone where I was just like, they're
That's
drawn
weird.
poorly or
Yep.
like
Yeah,
it
no.
makes me feel weird.
It's
Flawless
solid.
execution. 2, the Superman theory. I dig it.
That
Neat
idea,
idea.
yeah, that is a cool idea.
And excellent execution thereof. Now, maybe I'll dial it back from excellent to great, because I think the execution of the Superman theory could have been an event.
yeah, that's the thing. It's almost like wasted.
It is, but we get the culmination of all of it in a way smaller package.
You don't get
it
any
doesn't
fucking
fuck
tie-ins.
it up.
No
shit.
tie-ins.
Yeah.
We don't see it like done contradictory.
Right.
It's just it is and then it isn't. Fine. Superman being the linchpin of the multiverse and the existence of the metaverse.
Makes
I love
sense.
it. I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I
mean, because it's reality.
yeah.
Is that he has been in all the stories that get written, like it's all about
It's all
him.
about him. Even if
the
they
most
don't
part.
care.
Yeah.
Because in the New 52, you could tell they couldn't care less about like how to properly execute Superman and make him work fundamentally within this new universe. They were more focused on Batman.
Yeah.
And they will be until they are split up by an antitrust lawsuit. My question is, which Joker is it?
Wow. You couldn't stop yourself.
Right?
I honestly couldn't care less, and I don't want to hear it.
What are you talking about? It's the Joker.
It's just the Joker. That's the one you wanted to see interact with Marionette and Mime. The one you wanted. That's the one.
Right.
So those are Marionette and Mime are successes as well. I think they're interesting characters. And they have
Yeah.
a really interesting backstory.
They are cool.
And
but they end up not mattering.
well, they don't. Well, no,
they don't matter
They
to
don't
the
matter
Kid
to the-
matters. That's it.
Yeah, but like that in and of itself is important to the story, but they're also just dope. They're better executions of Punch and Julie. And as a result, I will enjoy their adventures more in the future. Now that being said, they're gonna have a kid. So like is
Right.
the kid gonna be warped? Is it gonna be a baby? Are they gonna be aged up? Are they gonna be aged down? Is she gonna be pregnant for like 6 years? I don't know. But at least the proof of concept in this is solid.
Right. I see. So they do address the
Superman theory.
Superman
Oh,
thing,
they
kind
They
of.
say it like it's disproven or it's like
yeah,
it's
like
just,
the world steps back from the brink, basically.
it's shouted down.
Right. Yeah. Calls by Wonder Woman for a new iteration of the dormant Global Guardians to be
Mm-hmm.
formed in the wake of India's agreed to designate a member of the Doom to. So they're
Yeah.
giving you little snippets of like, oh, everyone's kind of like calming the fuck down.
Yes.
And then you also didn't mention that
Oh, yes.
friggin'
Lex
Lex Luthor.
Luthor.
It's like, Veidt had the right idea, but I can do it better.
Yeah. What? Yeah, we're setting up Lex Luthor will become like a Machiavellian super genius villain that will try and unite the Earth
Right.
using a common foe.
Right.
No one's going to do that either. Or if
Maybe
they do,
Jeff Johns
they-
will do it someday.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
They go so far as to show that the Justice Society of America will investigate the metahumans thing. They're like, we're going to step in and see what
We'll
the
check
government
it out.
is
We were
doing."
there first, and we
Yeah.
weren't created by the government, so we'll
Yeah,
figure
so
it
don't
out.
worry. We'll get to the bottom of it. Maybe
Yeah.
there was something to that metahuman thing,
Yeah.
but we're going to take care of it.
We'll figure it out and quietly disappear it.
Yeah.
So that no one has to hear about it again.
Right. So now, where Flash gets a bit of Dr. Manhattan in him and becomes a Dr. Manhattan Flash, or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever.
Flash Hatton.
Or the chair does. I guess it was the
Yeah, it was the Mobius,
Mobius
chair.
chair. Was that Jeff Johns didn't have anything to do with that, did he?
Not a thing. He would never have done that.
Right. So
Would
that's
never have done that.
That's kind of funny because like
Yeah.
he took Watchmen and made it his fucking playground,
Yep.
did whatever he want, and immediately everyone's taking his thing and be like, oh, I'll use that, and that'll be a magic fucking thing. That'll do a cool.
He's like, whoa, no, but this is really important. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Oh,
Sure
like
it
Watchmen
is.
was real important.
Sure it is, Jeff.
Oh man, like, you don't have a leg to stand on.
no. Yeah, well, that's why.
If Watchmen wasn't sacred, Doomsday Clock sure as fuck ain't sacred.
No, I did not maintain it is. I think it's interesting.
You know what I love about the end of this?
Yeah.
Where they reference 5G?
Yeah.
If you were reading this book in 10 years, you'd be like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
this?
it's nothing.
5G?
They dropped it.
Yeah.
They dropped it. Now, here's the question. When you reprint this, are you going to change it to future state? I bet you don't.
Nah, they'll just leave it. It'll be like 5G. What's 5G?
Yeah.
Oh,
could
it's
be
just a
anything.
fantastical world that we'll never see.
That's the thing is that if they leave 5G in, it cements its irrelevancy. Now, Jeff Johns is not a prophet. He's an asshole.
Well, he did write lots of stuff that he couldn't possibly know about. So he is just like, oh, and then in 2040 and in
Yeah.
2050 this happens. He's like, yeah, I'm just spinning
a lie.
yarns.
Exactly.
Of course I don't know that these things are going to happen. It's
Right.
just a fun,
Yeah.
what if.
And that's the most
same as
important
5G.
Yeah.
Like,
What's
no,
5G?
but that's like a specific event
That
that
they
you're calling
made
5G,
you do.
which is a weird thing to put in here.
But-
Yes.
He's also doing the exact same thing. Like, so
Did he name all the other events in the 30 years from now?
He did not. Well, he named. Yes, he did. He named like certain events.
Let's see.
Well, he named the Secret Crisis, which is the Marvel
Secret
DC
Crisis.
crossover
Yeah.
in 10 years.
Time Eruptors is what it was.
Time Masters.
Time Masters
Time
erupts.
Masters.
Time eruptors. You know, gentlemen, everything ends, including this episode. Finally. I didn't believe it could, but it did.
No, let's just keep going.
Yeah, let's go another 4 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Everything ends, and also
Nothing
You see what you want.
you see what
You want to see.
You see what you want to see.
Yeah.
And never be ashamed of who you are, or whatever the hell it
You
is.
see what you want to see. You do what you want to do. The Addams Family.
And Doomsday Clock is a book. You can pick it up in stores now.